We doing all right on the kicks this show.
No, hey, look at you. I know what you looking at.
Pocket watcher, man. I'm a pocket watcher now.
Boy, you are
Look at them chains now.
watcher, man.
Don't you can't tuck them in.
Hey, you know you from Cali, man. You gonna tuck mine.
You can't tuck his like red on Friday. You can't tuck those.
Yeah, these big pieces.
Debo gonna see them.
Man, Jones, man, welcome to the show. This is Fred Taylor, this is Shannon Crowd, I'm Ryan Clark, the Pivot fam. Thank you for pivoting with us. This one, super cool for me, man. Jordan adores you, you know, man, just his opportunity to play with you at ASU, watch you every day. You know, he used to be like, Pop, sometimes Jack, he don't even use the right foot to break. You know what I mean? Like, he just always talked about, man, how talented you are. Obviously, me and Antonio, AP, Antonio Pierce, are really close. He has a great affinity for you. I actually got to go to the BET Awards, right? And Snoop got the Icon Award, right? That is someone who was close to you or someone you were around growing up, played in the league, obviously there at the same high school, was able to see you. What's it like, man, growing up in Cali, having somebody like Snoop give back to the community the way he does and to be a part of that?
I think that was a good thing. I was one of those guys who played in the Snoop Youth Football League. He had shouted it out at the BET Awards, so when he shouted it out, you know, I felt that. But I think Snoop helped out a lot of guys, you know, when he said, I think he said 49 was the number, 49 guys that made it to the NFL, you know, that's big, you know, because he changing a lot of kids' life, and he doing it in a tough/rough area, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, without that, I mean, I don't know what it'll look like. And then you got an icon like Snoop whose face all over the internet, face all over your phone, you know what I'm saying? And he's right there, you know, you can go up, talk to him at the games, you know, he's cool, he's approachable. So it's like, for you to have that, for me to have that, it was a blessing, you know what I'm saying? And now that I'm older, I see that, looking back, you know, I don't take that for granted.
Like you say, having that OG that can watch out for you, but you kind of said it, but how getting out of there, but also getting the mindset out of there. Because when you look at your story, you gotten some stuff. I got locked up 4 times. Like, it is what it is. But just getting out of that mindset of coming from nothing and moving to something and having somebody like Snoop, but just having a bigger picture about yourself.
You got people like Snoop in your life that's going to be the example, but it's honestly up to you to make the decision, you know, which way you want to go, because you know, nobody's controlling the decisions you make behind closed doors. So I think it was me, man. I just locked in and I just made the decision, like, you know, this is what I want to do. You know, this is the direction I want to go, and I don't want to be a street dude, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying? And I want to play football.
Long Beach probably has a long list of legendary guys that have made it to the big level. Like, trying to avoid the pitfalls of being on the streets, like looking at those guys, how did that motivate or influence you to kind of steer clear in the positive direction?
I had a great example before my time, and it's my uncle, you know what I'm saying? I kept hearing stories about my uncle, like crazy stories, like, man, your uncle was the best football player to ever touch Polly. Man, your uncle was better than you. Man, you can't even see your uncle. Your uncle had offered, you know what I'm saying? I'm hearing stories like that all the time. So, but they, at the same time, they telling me these stories, they like, you know, but your uncle chose this route. Don't be like your uncle. Look, then I got friends that, you know what I'm saying, that's doing that. So it's like, that's also another example. But I would really say my uncle, man, I kept hearing it from a young age, like, don't be like your uncle, you know what I'm saying? So I just try to keep my head straight.
Right.
Jack, before you got to ASU, in between leaving USC, what was that time for you, and kind of how difficult was it to take care of yourself while waiting for that next opportunity?
It was tough. It was tough because I never been in a situation like that. Obviously, I come from rough times, Long Beach and all that stuff, but, you know, when I hit high school and really got to playing football, you know, I started to get noticed pretty quick, so, you know, I started to rise pretty quick. So when I got to SC, in my head, I was on top of the world, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it all ended quick, and I don't know, that JUCO situation, it just, I don't know, it humbled me, you know what I'm saying? It humbled me, it made me open my eyes, like this is a privilege and it can be taken away any moment.
What was that time like, though, in between being kicked out of USC and going to ASU? Like, how difficult was it?
It was tough because I got kicked out, and when I got kicked out, like I said, I was on top, and now when I had to go back home, that's where the decisions start to come in, you know what I'm saying? The decision making, and in my head, you know what I'm saying, I just always thought, like, you know, my parents, we got We got 4 kids, so I don't want to say we're struggling, but we're not in the best situation, and I know that. So it's like for me to have this opportunity and then blow it on my own, it was just like, I just kind of felt like I couldn't go home. Like, and obviously my pops, my moms, they never said, nah, you can't come home. But I was just feeling like, man, I didn't want to be that dude to go home because they expected me as a child to go out and take advantage of this opportunity that I had, and I didn't. So, but that's why I say it was tough, man. I made that bad decision, and it almost cost me my career.
Jack, we've talked on this show a few times about Power 5 versus HBCUs. Like, you went to the best of the best. You were 5-star. You went to USC.
Yeah.
Like, the facilities probably don't get any better across, Power 5 schools. But then you were humbled and had to go to Moore Park College.
Yeah.
Right? Not even HBCU. It's like right there, like almost out of football.
Yeah.
Like, how humbling was that? Like, describe for us, like, the facilities, the differences.
No, it was really humbling because I couldn't play football at JUCO. I was straight school. I had went through that little case situation, so I'm walking around school with an ankle monitor on, and I'm class to class, study hall to study hall, and back to my home. That's all it was, but the reason I couldn't play football in JUCO is because they said, you can't play 2 years of Division I football and play your 3rd at a JUCO and then go to the NFL. It was some rule like that.
Right.
So I just had to sit out that year, get my academics right, and call AP, yeah, that happened.
I want to ask about that, man. Antonio Pierce, like, we had him on the show. He's one of my closest friends. Like, he is what you see, right? That's who AP is. What was that phone call like, though, when you guys started to discuss you becoming a part of ASU under Herm Edwards?
He asked me where I was at. He was like, so where you at? Like, what you doing? Situation and everything. And I told him the whole situation. I'm like, it's done. I'm handling it. And I told him I'm in school right now. And then he connected me with like an academic advisor at ASU. Ever since then, I just been calling the academic advisor back and forth, like, yo, am I on track for this? I'm on track for that, because at first I was going to Houston. I thought I was going to Houston. I was talking to the coach, and then one day he called me. He was like, yo, we checked the transcripts, and I guess something don't match up, or you don't have the credit, something. And then I called AP, and then, ever since then, I was back and forth with the academic coach and, made sure I was doing what I was supposed to.
But through all of that, did you ever lose hope?
Oh, for sure.
Cause it seems like a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Of that, and you ain't even make it to the league yet.
Yeah,
you at 18, bro, football might not be the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
when did you lose hope, and what were some of those down times like?
Honestly, when I went to jail, man, when I sat in that cell, I told myself, I was like, man, it's over. Like, I thought it was done. I don't know. I ain't got no quit in me, man. But I ain't gonna act like I did it myself, because it was times, and I had conversations where, some of my peers, some of my friends, like, man, I think I'm done with football. I got a good circle of good friends around me, and they'll cut that out quick. What you mean you done with football? Nah, bro, you ain't done with football. You gonna keep going. Don't quit on it. And that's all it really took for me, because it was like, I didn't want to quit, but I just had it in the back of my head. I'm like, damn, it's over. I was telling myself negative thoughts, and I didn't let it get to me, though.
Jack, that was the time that you were without a team, and this is where you are now. You are a free agent in the NFL. You're with the Raiders, cut right before OTAs. What are your thoughts now, right? When you wake up in the morning, you know you don't have a team. When you go get on the grind, what's your motivation and what's driving you every day to still put in that work?
I would say the last situation I've been through, the JUCO, the ASU, all that stuff, that just kind of molded me. Like, I don't even know what that is. I just can't quit. Like, hypothetically, God forbid, say I don't get a call, I'm still not gonna stop. I'm still gonna keep working out, still try to get on the team, go play UFL, XFL, whatever the case may be, and just keep working until I get another shot in the NFL. But I'm gonna keep playing football as long as my legs work.
Jack, man, I want to take it to a happier time, man. Let's go back to Christmas 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? We in Kansas City, playing against the almighty Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, man, it's the play and the day that got Antonio Pierce the head coaching job. Bro, you get the pick, you're running, Patrick Mahomes is kind of chasing you, and you just eyeballing him. Take me through that whole sequence, man, and when you're running back to the end zone, dog, like what is your thought?
So on a play he rolled out, I seen him roll out, And then if you watch the replay, he kind of like floated the ball. Like, I don't know, it wasn't enough heat. And in my head, when I seen it, I'm like, oh, it's mine. And I grabbed it. When I grabbed it, I was looking at him like, don't catch me. But then once I got past him, I did want to say, like, you can't fuck with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to pop my stuff, but I'm like, I had too much respect for him, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's Patrick Mahomes, like, one of the greatest quarterbacks. So it was like, it was just a stare down, like, I'm here, you know what I'm saying?
But your rookie year, didn't you have a pick six off of Aaron Rodgers too?
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, yeah.
Like, what was that moment like? Did you feel the same?
No, on that one, I was more so trying to prove myself, man. That was like a prove-it game. I was in New England. That was my first time starting. I was just locked in, I don't know. And I remember it was a play before that. He had ran like a fire out, and I seen it. And I was like, man, I could have picked that. Like, let me go get that next time. And then that next time came up, and I went and got it, you know what I'm saying? But nah, with the A-Rod one, I ain't think nothing like that. I was just hungry.
Right. Jack, none of those plays got to be more fun, though, than the screen. Who was the screen against?
I was Chargers.
Right, you playing the Chargers, right? You clearly you knew what was coming.
Yeah.
But like the thing I say always separates like the good players, and you know, he's a great player. He'll be a Hall of Famer one day. The good players and the great players is the willingness to believe what they see.
Yeah.
Jack, you were so far in the backfield on the screen, you had to turn around basically.
Yeah, I almost overran it.
You almost, like, how you overrun a ball that's 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage at corner, I don't know. Bro, like, what coverage were you in, and what tipped you off that was going to be the play?
What tipped me off was the motion in.
Right.
When I seen the motion in, I was like, I got to go get it. But what allowed me to go get it was cover 2, you know what I'm saying? Because if we was in cover 3, even man-to-man, I doubt I would have jumped it like that, you know what I'm saying? But we was cover 2, I had a safety over top, I seen the motion out from in. I'm like, yeah, that's me. I gotta go get that. But I was on it so quick though, like you say. And that's why I caught it with one hand. I didn't catch it with one hand intentionally. Like, I almost overran it, and I just had to reach back and grab it, and just kept going.
Man, listening to these plays, bro. You know, pick off, pick 6, A-Rod, pick 6, Mahomes, all that stuff, bro. Picking off screens, overrunning the screen, which is crazy. I gotta go watch that play. I ain't seen that one, I ain't gonna lie. What's stopping you from being on the team? Why did 2 teams now say, I can't be there? What do you need to improve on?
And that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that so I could express myself. It's me, you know what I'm saying? It's nothing else. Like I said before, you know, playing in the NFL is a privilege. And if you don't take advantage of the privilege, then you're gonna lose that privilege, you know, in a heartbeat. And you know, for all the young guys that's out there watching, I hope they use me, as an example. Like, this could be going in a heartbeat, no matter how good you are, how talented you are. But man, I just can't wait to prove myself, you know, looking forward to the next team. Like I said, I'm working out every day, just going hard, man, just ready to prove myself and show that I am who I say I am, and I'm not who they think I am.
But you talking about on the field, you can do it all.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You talking about you got it. You need somebody to believe in you off the field as well.
But I gotta show before you believe. So that's me taking that step, and I'm gonna take that step. I'm gonna do what I gotta do.
I see similar characteristics in AP, who I love to death.
Yeah.
Like just playing against him, competitor, seeing him coach, you know, rooting for him to be successful there, looking for an opportunity as well. Do you think him being there gave you more of a chance to kind of grow, you know, to become the person you are? Tell us a little bit about you guys' relationship and what he truly means to you.
First of all, let me shout out Coach Kim, Monica Kim, and let me shout out Antonio Pierce, Coach Pierce. Without them two, you know, this whole thing probably wouldn't even be possible. You know, Coach Kim was the head of it all. You know, you see AP face because, you know, he's the head coach, but, you know, without Coach Kim, you know, AP probably wouldn't even know who I am, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Coach Kim, but AP, nah, man, he helped me out through it all. You know, I remember one of the first conversations we had, I was playing DB, you know, this was high school. He came in my junior year. I was playing DB. My sophomore year, I played safety. I was about like 140, soaking wet. You know what I'm saying? That's safety, but I'm flying around making plays. But when he seen me, though, he was like, man, you're not no corner, you're a receiver. But the way he said it, and me being young, where I'm from, I'm like, what? Like, man, you don't know who you talking to. Like, but he changed my position, and he changed my life, because that's where all my offers came from. And to be honest, I love receiver, you know what I'm saying? That was one of the positions, but I had moved back to DB because it was honestly a battle between me and AP. Like, nah, bro, I'm a DB. I'm gonna show you that I'm a DB. You know what I'm saying? Like, but nah, AP mean the world to me, man. I'm forever appreciative. I appreciate him. You know what I'm saying, and everything he done, and he know what he means to me. You know what I'm saying, and I thank him for everything.
You know, Jordan talks about it. AP talks about it. Like, you are a football player.
Yeah.
The way you see the game, the way you see life, all of those things are the sort of mentalities that make you a 5-star, that put you on the field early at USC, that allow you to transfer to Arizona State and make plays. Like, we just had a running conversation about your NFL pick sixes. You know, I put myself on blast. I ain't got one. You know what I mean? I played 13 years. Like, you are a special football player. You know, you mentioned it was you, right? You were the reason. Why should somebody believe that this special football player that's always made plays, that off the field stuff has made him switch teams, why is somebody to believe that you can change that and you will change that?
It's the day-to-day. It's about being consistent. I be consistent by showing up and proving that, you know what I'm saying? I could sit here and tell you I'm gonna be perfect all day. I can sit here and tell you I'm gonna go 10 for 10 always, but you know, without the work, without the effort, without the consistency, then it's all talk. You know, I'm gonna just show up and prove it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever team need a corner, gonna give me an opportunity, I'm gonna show up and prove it every day. You know, I'm gonna be the best guy on the field, and I'm gonna be the best guy in the film room.
I love that. When you look back at sort of the things that made you the way you are, right? Being from where you're from in California, like, we know gang experiences are high there, right? Gang activity is high there. We know that those are places that you can get caught up in the things around you and the things that you see. What was it that allowed you to avoid those things and continue playing football at a high level like you have?
I would say football. Football and the friends you keep, man. That's a real quote, you know. You show me your friends, I'll show you your future, you know. That's a real thing. The friends I was with in high school, you know, we was all ball. We all wanted the same thing. We was all chasing the same thing, so we would all go work out every day. We working out every day. We just chasing football. If I was with my homies that was in the streets and it was dibbling back and forth, then I probably wouldn't be here. But, you know, like I said, I made up my mind, and I hung out with the right guys, and we got to work.
I was supposed to get drafted first round. I was an All-American.
Yeah.
But I wasn't an All-American after practice ended.
Yeah.
God, really, in UF Gainesville, they locked me up, assault and all this. So I was a fighter.
Yeah.
Somebody say something crazy. I was from Atlanta. You called me a bitch. You got to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Now as a 41
like
year
California.
Yeah, California thing. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing. And I told the NFL coaches, I was at the combine. They kind of asked me, "Yeah, why are you getting arrested so much?" I said, "Coach, I can't deal with disrespect." And through time now, being 41, now I've been retired 12 years. So now I understand at 41, I understand what 21-year-old me was thinking. Yeah. And I wish I could go talk to him. What would you say to yourself 7, 8 years ago? Could you really address yourself? Because the trouble you talking about and the things that go and the Wikipedia stuff and the records, that shit's always gonna be on wax.
Yeah.
What would you go back and tell yourself? And what are those? I know I had an anger management problem, and I know now they can call me a bitch all day, and I'll walk away smiling. You a bitch. Have a good one, Freddie. Yeah. I ain't gonna jump on them. But at 18, 19, I'm gonna jump on them. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, when you talk about, like, growing, if you go back and talk to your 18-year-old self, how could you, and to be honest, how can these teams know that you have grown now?
It's bigger than me, man. I got kids depending on me, man. I got my girl depending on me. I got family members depending on me, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I would just emphasize that it's bigger than me. And once you take I out of the equation, you know, that make you go so much harder for other people, for your loved ones.
You were drafted to a Belichick-led team.
Yeah.
What did you learn from that experience? Because that's a place where discipline is important. That's a place where being on time is important. That's a place where being accountable is important. Freddie T says it all the time, you know, do business as being done. Was there anything that you can go back to that experience and say, okay, going forward, some of those things I learned could help me from a guy like a Bill Belichick?
First of all, man, I appreciate Bill, man, and I thank Bill for, you know, taking the opportunity on me. But, man, I just was young, man. You know, I wasn't carrying myself right about the building. I don't know, just the discipline level of it just taught me, like, the stuff that's going on outside of the building, you can't bring it to the building. And I was honestly, my first couple of years, I was having troubles with that. I was having problems with that because it was like, I'm a dude who I'm gonna wear it on my sleeve. If I'm mad, you're gonna see that. You know, I learned from that situation, but I definitely learned from there. It's like, the stuff that happened outside is outside, and the stuff that happened inside is inside, you know what I'm saying? But that's just like the going with your quote, like, handle business as being done, you know, and you ain't got no girlfriend up at that building, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no kids at that building, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got family members at that building. When you go up there, it's football and it's friends, and that's what I learned. I also learned ball too, though, because Bill Belichick and that whole program or whatever, they taught me ball, man. They taught me ball, just going from ASU to New England, man. I learned a lot of football, and I think that's why I was able to have such a good year my rookie year, because I learned a lot from Bill and Mike and New England.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I learned that quote from Bill in year 12 when I was a free agent in my time in New England, and I just embraced it all. But as you are, the NFL is a business, right? And as you're sitting there waiting for another opportunity, doing business as it's being done, what are you doing to, one, stay focused on that, but also to keep yourself busy with maybe something else that you have a passion for? Like, I think music is a big thing.
Yeah, a little bit of music, man. I go to the studio a little bit, but I don't release no songs. This is just, I just go to the
be therapy.
Yeah, that's it. Just go to the studio, just hang out, make a song or something. But for the most part, man, I play the game, man. I get on the game, play Call of Duty, play NCAA, play Madden, play something, you know what I'm saying? But that's my getaway zone, man. I go and play the game, stay out the streets, stay from outside, I'm in the house with my girl, my son, and I'm just on the game.
You playing the guitar and the piano, or you got bars?
Nah, I'm more of a rapper, but I ain't no rapper though.
Hey, I ain't a rapper. But he's not a rapper. We all come from these different places. When people are from New Orleans, they're very passionate about what New Orleans is and about what having the area code 504 means, right? Where he's from, Belglades, right? They're very passionate about who they are. You know what I'm saying? Atlanta's not really as much, but like Atlanta as well.
What did you just say about Atlanta?
No, I'm just joking. Atlanta as well. When you think about the culture of LA, when you think about the sort of people that have made it out, then also too, man, some of the greats from LA that we've lost too soon, right? What is it that you're proud of about where you're from?
From Long Beach. I'm proud of my city that made me. I don't know. Proud of everything. I appreciate everything, because without that journey, then I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have that dog I got in me today. I wouldn't have that fight, that relentlessness. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I appreciate Long Beach for everything, man. For the relationships I had back at home, for the teachers that said hurtful things to me. You know what I'm saying? And I really don't mean this in no envious way. Like, I really mean, like, I appreciate that, because without that, then I wouldn't have made it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I still do think about some of the stuff that I was told back in high school, good and bad, like, you know what I'm saying? But I appreciate the whole thing, man. I'm really blessed to be in this situation, coming where I'm coming from, to have the relationships that I got, man. And I appreciate it all, man. But I love my city. It's on me forever, and I'm a forever rebel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's dope, man. It was obviously Snoop first for a kid from Louisiana. Yeah. Like, Snoop was like the first time I even ever heard of Long Beach. Yeah. Like, to be honest. And then it continues to grow, and it's become, especially Long Beach Poly, back, a few years ago, the sort of football players that they were putting out, right? What they do in college, guys going to the league. If you weren't doing football, what would and where would Jack Jones be? You said that football is what kept you from the rest of it, right? That passion. So what would you be doing if you didn't have football?
I don't even want to put it on camera. You know what I'm saying? It's football. That's what I am. I'm a football player. I don't want to talk about what could have been or if it didn't happen, and I hate that, man. It's football, man, and I've been playing football since I could walk. It was no other sport, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't soccer, baseball, basketball, track and field. Never ran track and field. It was football. I played football. Football wasn't in season. We outside in the field playing football with some friends. That stuff ain't, you know what I'm saying? That stuff for the birds.
That's honestly, man, honestly, there's no better answer than that, bro. Wow. Yeah. There is no better answer.
The RC speaks about his plan A or not having the plan B because he's so tied into plan A, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask you, because of, you know, having been released and now waiting for another opportunity, going back to the situation from USC, having to go to JUCO, do you think that prepared you for, you know, what you're going through or experiencing now as you wait for another opportunity? I'm talking about in terms of masking or minimizing the frustrations, understanding the patience game, and just continue to stay focused, steering clear of trouble so you can get that shot.
Absolutely, because I continuously tell myself to this day, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna keep telling myself, like, I've been here before and I ain't breaking, I ain't gonna break now, you know what I'm saying? So one foot in front of the other, keep working, and when that call happened, you know what I'm saying? But I don't know, I don't wanna be looking up just trying to what if, and, cause you know, it's too much hope, that had your heart beating fast, you know what I'm saying? Too much anxiety, you know what I'm saying? Just one foot in front of the other, man. Just keep working, head down, work. That call gonna happen when it happens, God's timing.
And the silver lining is, I just met you say your son was like 1.5 years?
Yeah.
He gonna be causing hell in about another 6 to 8 months in the cabinets and everything. The silver lining though, the opportunity to spend more time at home, you know, you wanna be in OTAs and all that different stuff. I get it, but there's always a positive in these sort of moments. Like, talk to us about, you know, that, seeing him grow and being there right now.
Nah, it is a positive being around my son, because if I wasn't at the house, then I'd be at football practice or OTAs, you know what I'm saying, working out for however many hours. But we understand, me and my girl, like, it's ball, you know what I'm saying? So ball first. I ain't gonna say ball first because it's family first, but we understand it's ball, and ball is what's gonna take care of us, you know what I'm saying? So, but nah, it's good to see my son, man, but I'm definitely still working out. We gotta go work out, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get that hour in a day, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely good to see my son a lot more than what I was seeing him during the season.
Right.
As you watch games, and as you really, I don't even grow, but really get older, watch football, watch people getting drafted and all that.
Yeah.
You really have a gift.
He does.
Are you starting to appreciate that gift more? Because I'll be honest, I don't think I appreciated my gifts like I should have early in my career. Do you appreciate, honestly, you worked for some, but God gave you some of them. Are you appreciating those gifts now? If you can watch people play and you can see folks that got jobs, that I would say I didn't have a job, and I was still better than some of the motherfuckers out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But not you, but did you appreciate those gifts, and are you starting to look at it differently?
I definitely do, but I also feel like at the same time I'm shorting myself, because you know, when I'm training in the off season, it's no DB work. I don't have a DB trainer. Like, I ain't never had a DB trainer my whole life. It's just stay in shape, you know what I'm saying? However, I gotta stay in shape, but I think once I find a coach, find somebody solid in the off season, we can spend however many weeks together, then I think I'd be taking full advantage of you know, my talent, but definitely I do appreciate it though.
I know you live here, but I'll be in Arizona from June until training camp, every week, 2 days a week, Monday and Thursday.
I'm gonna be out there. I gotta go home and see my daughter for about 2 weeks, and I'm gonna leave and go back to Arizona probably like beginning of July, end of June.
What's your best 40 ever?
My best 40?
Yeah.
4.5.
I ran 4.5. I was hurt.
He just look a little quicker than you.
He's way quicker than me.
If you can get your feet work into them legs,
he's way quicker.
I think we got action.
But I tell you what I do know how to do though. Because I wasn't fast, I know how to get it and I know how to coach it.
Yes.
So now hit me up. We can do that. I do want to ask this though, man. It's pretty cool transition. He asked you about being able to spend more time with your son. I'm obviously going to be in Arizona because I'll be training Jordan and all the people who are working out there. It's June, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. It's also Father's Day.
Yeah.
You seem to be really dialed in. You just said, you know, you talked about having your son, but go and see your daughter. When you think about the type of father you want to be, what do you want those kids to see in you?
I want them to see me and say, Daddy never quit. Life gonna get hard, but I think that you need to go through them hard times to get to where you wanna go, because it's like, wherever you're trying to go is precious. And for you to have something precious, you gotta go through something hard, or because anything that's worth having is not easy, you know what I'm saying? So, Daddy never quit. And if Daddy never quit, then I don't never need to quit. I'm gonna make sure my kids grow up different, you know what I'm saying, around a lot more money than I grew up around, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be handouts. I just wanna instill that in my kids, that life is hard, and when the hard times come, you can't quit. You gotta go harder.
You look at where you are now. You have made more plays than many people who are in mini camps these weeks. You started more games than many people who have helmets and roster spots. When you think about the way you'll enter the building with your next opportunity, what do you think is most important to show that next coach, that next organization, that next locker room?
That I'm here for ball, and all the outside noise that I'm pretty sure they hearing, you know, the Jack is hanging out with the wrong group, Jack don't always make the right decisions, you know, I'm gonna be there and I'm gonna prove that wrong, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show up, like I say, show up every day, go to work, put on my hard hat, you know, close my mouth and just get to work. The next team I go to, whatever team it is, you know, I don't expect them to be like, yo, Jack, you made X amount of plays, you're a starter. Nah, man, start me with the fourth group, with the last group. I'll work my way up. That ain't nothing to me. I'm cool with proving myself, but just give me a chance to prove myself, because I'm willing to prove myself and do it every day.
You seem different, right? And I can be honest, like, we didn't talk a lot when you were in school. I don't know a ton about you personally other than what people have told me, but, you know, you had being kicked out of USC, right? You had being in the jail cell, right? You had not getting your transcripts right for Houston. Like, it's been adversity, Jack. Like, you've been faced with not having football before. And the conventional mind would say all of those things didn't necessarily change decision making. What is it about, whether it's you right now or the situation you're in right now, that has you speaking with such clarity that the next time will be so different for you?
Because I went through what I went through. If I wouldn't have went through what I went through, then I probably wouldn't be talking this confident, you know what I'm saying? But I went through what I went through, and man, it really made me open my eyes like that. This is a privilege, and it could be taken away anytime. And if this is something that I say I want, I gotta prove that I want it by showing up, being consistent, doing what I'm supposed to, doing what I'm asked to do, you know what I'm saying? And doing it at a high level.
But you are your resume. Back to what I was saying, bro. I was a problem.
Yeah.
I was a problem.
Yeah.
You're your resume.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But your resume has some hellified ups.
Man, highlights.
Hellified ups,
Highlights.
bro. But those downs are what you're fighting, to be honest. I'll be honest with you as a unk.
Yeah.
Those downs are what you're fighting, kind of along that line of Ryan, where teams want to figure out why those lows come and address them. You had to address those things. I just partied. I was a partier, and they knew it. Everybody went around, drafted me. They knew crowd was gonna go out. Crowd was gonna party and all that stuff. So that's the kind of the transition of it. Are the kids the reason to change? What's that reason for your change? Because that's what you need, is those lows on their resume. There has to be a reason for a transition.
Like I say, my kids, family member, girls, they counting on me, and me wanting to play football. And if I lose football, then I'm losing what I want, and I'm hurting my family members who count on me, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I gotta change. I don't have no choice but to change, and if I don't change, then I'm gonna be doing stuff I don't wanna do, you know what I'm saying? Working out for a team I might not wanna play for. It's just about, like I say, putting the next foot in front of the other, keeping a good mindset, and keep going. And I'm here today thinking with this positive mindset because I've been through it before, and I know how to handle it. I know where to go when I need this help. I know where to go when I need this help. I got people in my corner, my girl, I got help from people, and I just need to start reaching out that's what I learned.
Who do you talk to, Jack? Like when you mentioned bringing the outside stuff into the building, or whatever it was that caused tension in Las Vegas. Is there a person or are there people that you could get on the phone with and say, hey man, this is what I'm going through, how would you handle it? This is what I'm going through, what decisions should I make? Because we talk about it on this show all the time, bro. Like, our careers, our lives, whatever it is, like, they aren't this linear transfer of experiences that you don't need other people's help, right? Do you have people that you feel like you could lean on when you get in these times where things could seem overwhelming?
Absolutely. Some of the people I named earlier, Coach Kim, AP, I called TJ Husmanzada. Those some of the main three that I called. Like, you know, when I got a question about whatever it may be, you know, most of the stuff is football, but you know, whatever it may be, I call them like no hesitation. You know, they pick up the phone. If not, they'll call me right back. But those the people I run to, and they've been helping me out a lot.
I'm a tattoo man, right? Like, I get some tattoos, we all are, obviously, and some are more meaningful than others.
Yeah.
I see NFL right there on your knuckle.
Yeah.
I was trying to make out what it says below that. But I see Jackie.
Yeah.
I see MLK over there.
Yeah.
Is that a Jack?
Yeah, that's a Jack card.
Oh, the Jack card right there. Like, give me a story behind, like, your most meaningful piece of art.
I go through some of them. The NFL one is just never forget loyalty. That's why I got that, you know what I'm saying? It's just the loyal ones who've been loyal to me, you know, I never forget about them, and I always got them, you know, even if it seemed like I don't, we ain't talking every day, I'm still here, you know what I'm saying? But then this right here is, this is my grandma's name, my grandma Jackie, and her favorite color is yellow, so I got a sunflower, and then I got my mom on the inside, my guardian angel, and I just got a crown, got the city right here. And then MLK, I just got that just young.
Hey, my man went through all the tattoos. He got to like an historical civil rights activist, and he goes, I just got that one. I was young.
Look at this one.
The no fear with the
fear
tribal is
with the
terrible.
tribal ring. That was the young dumb shit for me.
Stripper mode.
Who does that? That was my stripper tattoo. That's why I keep my sleeve.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 18.
First one?
It was close.
Man.
Yeah, that just there alone is crazy. That right? A naked arm was just that.
No, but Jack, just
You might as well get a belly button tattoo.
right around the sunflower.
Get that freaky Z, that Zion.
Right. Jack, some stood out to me, man. You spoke about loyalty.
Yeah.
Right, and as a young guy, you know, we want to make sure we remember where we come from.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people that have taken chances on us coming up, you say, I got you.
Yeah.
You know, but you also got to find a balance so that you don't put yourself in the negative, where you're underwater.
Yeah.
Now, speak to that, you know, that loyalty theme to make sure that, yeah, I got you, but there's a thin line. Like, I can't have you bringing issues my way.
Yeah.
So we got to play each other at a distance, because I got to be right. Because if you crack the piggy bank, then we lose everything.
Nah, yeah, well, I talk to my homies about that all the time, man. And my homies is smart enough to understand the situation that I'm in. They smart enough to see that the situation that I went through last time was eating me, and I don't want to go through that no more. So when we go out or anything like that, we get together, and I don't hang out with a bad group of guys. Like, the friends I hang out with, they don't have no criminal record. Like, so I'm gonna just put that there. Like,
right.
But when we go out though, it's don't start nothing, it won't be nothing. We don't plan on finishing nothing. We can always walk away. And I tell them out my mouth, you know what I'm saying? This is me talking. I said, bro, if we get into a fight and we go and beat this dude up, who face gonna be on the news? This is gonna be yours or it's gonna be mine?
Right.
And so it's like, come on, bro. It's like, we all love each other here, so it's like, do something for your loved one and just, you know what I'm saying, calm down when we go out. And
Yeah, I asked that because I know we have a lot of impressionable young guys that aspire to be where we all are watching the show. And they get lost in that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I gotta be here, I gotta look out for the hood, I gotta look out for my people, but there's a way to do it.
Nah, yeah,
so
I'm
that's why
strict with mine. Ain't no knuckleheads with me.
Right,
I ain't gonna lie. Ain't anybody who wanna quote unquote crash out, yeah, you crash out by yourself. We ain't crashing out over here, you know what I'm saying?
Crash out.
Yeah, we just trying to have fun, you know what I'm saying? Get back home safe to our babies, you know what I'm saying? But
have you had to cut anybody off though?
oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like make smart decisions.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And it come with a heartbeat, and it come like it's like I love you, but at the same time, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you trying to tear me down. You know what I'm saying? But and I can't have that because, like I say, it's bigger than me. I got people, babies, family members counting on me, and I cut somebody off in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying?
That's smart though, man.
Yeah, no, so I was trying to lay up for the biggest pivot question. And we always ask our guests on the show, what's their biggest pivot in life?
Yeah.
That's that one moment you can look back on and say, because of this happening or without this happening to me or for me, I wouldn't be who I am today.
I'd probably say sitting in that jail cell, man. Sitting in that jail cell, going through that time, having to do that time. Man, that was rough, man. That was rough without that, because it was that in that moment right there, it felt like football was gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was no football at all. It was, I wasn't gonna play another snap, like, you know what I'm saying? And I was in JUCO, so I couldn't play football too, so it was really tough. But that moment right there, I would say that was my pivot in life, where it was a wake-up call, like, which way you wanna go? You wanna go left or you wanna go right, you know what I'm saying? So.
Crazy how God works, ain't it?
Yeah.
Boy.
Absolutely, man.
I'm glad we got to sit down and have the conversation. You know, before we even did it, I was hoping, one, that you were as open about things as you were, and that I'd learn and that other people get an opportunity to learn how much you've actually grown. And from me, for sure, and I know from both of them, like, we're just praying you get another opportunity. And honestly, I'm praying that you get to show everyone that whoever makes that decision, they were right to give you another chance, man. But happy Father's Day to you, bro. Appreciate you coming. Your baby's outside, you know what I'm saying, your girl as well, man. But best of luck, man. I'll see you in AZ.
Can I hold your baby?
No. Bro. So, they had a baby on the set.
Look at you like,
They had a baby on set one time, right, Jack? And he kept saying, no, I'm gonna make the baby be quiet. Man, he held that baby, the baby down there.
Baby went crazy.
When he held the baby.
We've been telling Slay, this the AFC North.
Yeah.
Banging. Everybody's banging.
Even when you got to go tackle the receivers in Cincinnati, you better go tackle.
100%.
T?
T and Jamar?
T is a big old boy. Goodness gracious.
DK bigger than T. Hell yeah.
It's portion different too.
Yeah.
Like T built like a hooper.
Yes, it is.
You know what I'm saying? But DK is built like a lab rat that people got bored with.
Tippy toes like a baby.
You ain't lying.
Damn.
I'm too big.
Jay, welcome to the Pivot, man, for the second time.
Yes, sir.
You know, the first time we did it was different circumstances. You were already an All-Pro and Pro Bowler, but now things have shifted and changed to where you're in a part of your career where people speak of you oftentimes, and the gold jacket conversation starts. Fred Taylor, Channing Crowder, and Ryan Clark. Pivot fam, thank y'all for pivoting with us on this training camp tour. I'm going to ask you the question that Channing Crowder often asks himself when he says, why couldn't I have played for Mike T? I try to explain to people when I'm on TV, the ceiling he has as a coach, I believe, is higher than any coach I've ever been around. The way he motivates, the way he prepares, the way he thinks, the way he communicates. What's it been like getting to know Mike T in your short stint here so far in Pittsburgh?
It's been one of the best experiences ever. Like, even like I was talking to my pops today, and he was asking me about like how camp has been going and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, it's in the weirdest way. Like, you know, this is the first time I've had to go to a college, stay in the dorm rooms, do all of that. It ain't, you know, as nice or whatever. It's old school a little bit. But I'm like, this is the most fun training camp I've ever been a part of. It's like the most that I've enjoyed football, the most that I've enjoyed my teammates, being around my teammates, my coaches, and everything, because I feel like everything done went back to the basics. It's about ball. It's about the right stuff. It's about the relationships. And Mike T, he 101. Like, obviously I have a great relationship with Coach McVay out in LA, and we had our great times, and still a great friend of mine. But Mike T, different. Like, he different. Obviously, we already connect because he defensive minded, you know, especially with the secondary. But just his messaging, his motivation, the way he like is a true leader. Like I just sit in his meetings and I'm like, dang, cause like I want to be a high school football coach one day. So I'm like sitting in his meetings like, yeah, I gotta use that one day. Like this gon' hit. Like that's how I am listening to him and then talking to some of my teammates and they feel the same way about him. It's like, yo, you can see why he's had so much success throughout his coaching career because it's a random Tuesday and he'll have that whole locker room ready to run through a wall for him. Like, no joke. Like, all the essence of what football is about, he emphasizes it. Toughness, being well-conditioned. Like, yo, if Jalen got a vet day, Slay got a vet day, we don't expect a drop-off. Like, it's no gray area. It's no, okay, well, Jalen out or Slay out, so this will be a little bit worse over here. Nah, it's like, did we win or not? Were we successful or did we fail? Did we get better or did we not? It ain't no gray area. It's black and white. That's what we about around here. Were y'all tough today? Were you well-conditioned? Were you running to the ball? Were you on your alignment, your assignment, your technique? Like, it ain't no excuses. It ain't no this, no that. Like, and I just respect that more than anything because, you've been around and you have things that happen and as a team, you'll make excuses for yourself. But I don't think that's how you can be successful. I don't think that's how you can be elite or great if you making excuses for yourself or what we call it here is comfort seeking. If you always comfort seeking, then you can't be elite. You can't be great.
You are a true mother effing Steeler already.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. If you think I'm playing, I be sitting in them meetings like, oh yeah, this gonna hit when I'm in high school. I'm gonna have all the kids. I'm gonna have them kids in high school. Man, I'm serious, man. I'm just like, I'm in awe. Just not even just with Mike T. Obviously, it starts from the head man, but it trickles down like my position coaches and like everybody. Like it's the same messaging. It's all of that. So I'm just in awe of just being in these guys' presence and still learning even in year 10 and trying to go out there and keep my game at an elite level while also helping the younger guys make sure that they on that as well. And it's a blessing, honestly.
I'm always in awe when we come up here because I've been watching the Steelers for years. They got the same type people, not the same people. Got TJ, before that was Debo. Then they had Peasy. You just go back to what they had. C. Hampers in the middle, Kaiser was in the middle. That same person. You feel that? Do you know that these different teammates than where you've been? Not bad mouthing anywhere else, but just seeing the guys that they bring into this organization.
No, it's real. It's real. Mike T and Omar, they construct the team. We want these type of guys. We want kind of old school, hard-nosed guys, fierce guys, maybe a little edgy. Sometimes we gotta tell them, hold on a little bit. And yeah, my teammates are definitely like that. And I think that's another plus of being here is like we are all very similar. So we all get along. We all are into the same type of things. We all love the hell out of football. Like we really don't have a bunch of other interests. Like it's God, family, and damn it, football. It's like like that's how it is. So it's been a joy. It's been a blessing, being around these guys.
Hey, Jay, before I ask my question, I got a little pivot trivia for you.
What's up?
Something that we all got in common.
Is this a trick question? It's not a Super Bowl.
Hey, calm down. Yeah, that we all have in common.
We black, brother.
I was gonna say the same thing. We black men.
I mean, not that. That is easy.
You said it's not a trick question.
Make you think a little bit. It's not.
But you gotta give us.
He's played for every team that we've played for.
Wow.
Damn.
I damn sure have.
Well, I bounced around a little bit, but yeah, he's played for the main team.
Yeah, Jacksonville,
but
Miami, Steelers.
Right. Just
100%.
Correct. But just explain to us or talk to us about the process, the acquisition.
Yeah.
And because Coach T told us he knew a little something when they acquired the whole Aaron Rodgers thing. How did it come about with you? Because the entire offseason kind of was unfolding, and then all of a sudden, pop up, you're a Steeler. How did that all kind of take place?
It was in the works for a little minute, I would say.
So he knew something else.
It was in the works, but things had to get put together the right way. Things had to come together from my standpoint to the Dolphins, to the Steelers. I think all of us had to come to I guess you could say agreement. We all had to come to a consensus on what it would be. I do appreciate the Dolphins and them working with me and David, not just, hey, this team called and, you know, we're gonna send you here and this and that. Like, it wasn't any of that. It was very open communication with, this is, you know, y'all been good to us, I've been good to y'all. Like, let's do it the right way. Let's go to a team that's gonna be able to compete. Let's go to a team where there's a lot of respect for the head coach in there and, you know, the staff, a place where I can continue developing, playing at a high level, maybe be versatile. And then, you know, I had to let David do his thing too. You know, the money was involved. So he did his thing with that. And then, you know, obviously the Steelers, you know, they really wanted me here. And, you know, at the end of the day, I wanted to be here as well. And so I just it got to a certain point where I was like, everything is good on my end. Let's get the business handled. Y'all do that part, and y'all let me know when it's a go. So that kind of took a little minute to get done. But once that got done, it was like, let's go.
You speak of David Mulligetta. Could you imagine, he is the GOAT, could you imagine a world where somebody put you in the room, thought they came to an agreement, and didn't speak to David?
No chance. No chance. No chance. I would laugh at it. They would. You would think they would know better. That's all I'm gonna say. You would think that they would know better.
With him for sure.
With him for sure.
Hey,
you would think they would know better.
In preparing for this, you know, like it's always difficult for me to do people who I'm friends to have conversations with people I'm friends with.
Yeah.
Right? Because you talk to them in other times and it's like, man, what have we talked about or what have we said that I think would be good for people? I'm gonna tell you something that we haven't talked about. Two of my favorite players that have ever played the game, both last name Woodson, Rod Woodson, Charles Woodson, were walking together in the Hall of Fame, and I thought to myself, Jalen's career is very parallel to them both. And talking to Mike T today, he said, you know what, we're gonna use him everywhere. His intellect, his athleticism, his versatility, his ability to communicate allows us to play him where we need him. And he could still play every position on the back end. I think you are very similar to those players. I think you end up where both of those guys have ended up in the Hall of Fame. How do you see what they've been able to do and you getting to watch them finish their careers playing other positions? How has that influenced you?
Like I've been asked before, like, who's my favorite corner, obviously. If you ask me who my favorite corner is, I'm probably gonna say probably Revis or Champ or obviously Dion, obviously. If you ask me who my favorite DB is, I'm gonna say Charles off the jump. Like, a lot of respect for Rod as well. He did the same thing, but I'm gonna say Charles off the jump. Like, probably favorite player ever, favorite DB for sure. Watching him, even when I was in college, like, I've always been a fan of just the game of football and a fan of defensive backs in particular. So in college, I used to have the video crew go get me clips. When I used to play nickel at Florida State my sophomore year, I used to have the video crew go get me clips of Charles playing nickel. And so from then, like, I started watching him and just studying him, and okay, like they might do wide blitzes and it's always him coming off the edge if they with the tight end or whatever like that, and he making crazy plays, or, you know, just his mindset on things. Like, man, I've watched a full game clip of him in the first quarter giving up a bomb, and then the rest of the game going crazy, like short-term memory. Like, even little stuff like that I've watched and studied with his game. I've always been a super big fan of him. I've always wanted my career to look more like that than anybody else. If I had to, like, pick one person that I want my career to look like, it's always been him. Whether that is 12 years, 15, 18, whatever, right? I've always seen my career looking like that. Obviously, on my past teams, I've been needed to more than likely at times be specifically a corner and have certain matchups and be on the outside, because that's a valuable position for sure. But I've always wanted to be able to move around and kind of be in a game plan, really. You know, at corner, it gets boring after a while.
Will you get that here, though, Jalen, the ability to move around and be around the football and affect the game in multiple ways?
100%. That was even, going back to talking about the acquisition, that was even like a big thing for me. Was like, I remember talking to Mike and Omar, I'm like, yo, football-wise, I think that was one of the first questions I asked. Like, yo, how do you envision me fitting in with this defense? How do you envision me playing with this defense? Because obviously you have Slay, who I have a ton of respect for. Me and Slay been friends for a while. Then you got Joey Porter Jr. And it's like, I know for a fact what both of those guys can do on the outside. And I know what I can do versatility-wise in the nickel, at safety if you ask me to, outside matchups, whatever. And the conversations we had really had me excited for the possibilities that we can see on the field this year, even if it's playing position that I haven't played yet in the league. But, you know, in college, I played it all. I played safety in first year, nickel, corner. So I'm excited to be able to potentially do do a number of things this year.
Like you said, y'all really got 3 ones.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that's how we view it too.
Yeah, but did y'all have to? Was there a little hierarchy struggle or anything?
You talking about like who going first in one-on-ones?
Yeah, like Lil Peasy, Slay, yourself, one-on-one start.
They know who going first. Yeah. And Slay so chill, right? Slay my dog. Me and Slay have a great relationship. Slay already knew what type of time, and I was on Slay chill. Slay like, man, y'all got it. You know what I'm saying? Slay cool.
Yeah.
You know, with Joe, he like, nah, Jay, I need that. I'm like, after me though. You know what I mean? Like, you gonna get it. You gonna get that action.
Yeah.
After me, let me do my thing, and then you gonna get your action. And you know, all 3 of us, we sat with Mike T, even you know at the beginning of camp, and we had good conversations. And he even kind of butted in and told Joe too, like, hey, Jay gonna be the guy right now. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna get you yours too, but Jay gonna be the one popping it off. We're gonna give the people what they want. Jay gonna be the one.
Yeah.
But I love it, to be honest, because like one of my most favorite years when I was in Jacksonville with AJ Bouye, and it was like I felt like I was that one. I was the dog. But AJ was like, at times, AJ was like, no, I need that. I need some of that too. Right. If we playing D-Hop, yeah, I know you got the matchup, Jay, but if I'm feeling it, let me get it.
Right.
And I had no problem with that. I'm like, I love that. Like, whoo, that's to me, that's like, yo, that mindset is crazy. I like that. I already love that with Joe. I'm like, oh, that's how you feeling? I'm like, man, this gonna be, if that's really what you want too, then we just alike. This gonna be a match made in heaven, and we gonna feed off each other. And Slay, if you wanna hop in there too, you come on. But if you wanna dominate the 2s or the 3, you do that too. So it's gonna be fun for sure.
When number 1 from Cincinnati roll up here then, cause he the one too. Mm-hmm. What's the conversation gonna be that week?
That's me. That's Jay. That's 5 for now. That's 5. Joey, I'm gonna give you. I know that's what Joey wanted as well, and he gonna get his ops, but that's 5 right now. That's 5.
The Steelers made some great transactions this offseason, and they brought in a lot of guys that have won Super Bowls, right? A lot of great leaders. How do you see yourself fitting into that equation to bring that energy and let it trickle down to all the other guys who lack the experience of playing on that level in those pressure situations to get them up to speed?
Definitely trying to help the guys get over the hump of, you know, the playoff win drought, but we got the right guys here already. You know what I'm saying? They just, you know, at times you got to put different pieces together and stuff just has to happen, right? So I haven't even really thought about it in that way, because I just know that like we got the right type of guys that can do it. Like it was the same way when I was in LA, and yeah, we were supposed to be this and that, but everybody still kind of had that little stint on Matthew of, oh, he ain't winning playoff games and he ain't doing this and he ain't doing that. Like, but as a team, we didn't worry about it because we knew what type of guy he was, and we had to put a lot of the other pieces together, and we did. And once we, you know, got in those moments, he shined and he showed who he was, as well as other guys who got their opportunity as well, whether they had been in the playoffs before or not been in the playoffs. Like we had guys who have obviously been in the playoffs and been to the Super Bowl, who was on that Rams Super Bowl team before, who played, you know, pivotal parts for us. And then we had guys who hadn't been in those positions and hadn't, you know, done that, who played pivotal parts for us. So it's just putting it all together, which, you know, that's the goal. That's what we trying to do.
You're going to have a pivotal player at the quarterback position. Got a chance to see him in person today. And he threw like 4 or 5 footballs that made me feel the same way I felt in 2010, 2011 Super Bowl when we couldn't do nothing with him here. I'd have 2 rings if not for him. What have you seen from Aaron Rodgers that made you just say he still got it?
Still got it. Oh my goodness. And well, first off, I'm just about to take away like his arm talent and his precision, his accuracy, and the no-look passes and all that. Forget about all that for the second. Can't forget about it, but for the second, forget about it. The confidence that he brings, that whole offense, like everybody around him wants to be great, and it's kind of like nobody wants to let him down.
Yeah.
The best teams that I've been on, that's been like how the whole team is. When I was in LA, I didn't want to let AD down.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want to let Aaron Donald down.
Wow.
Other guys on the team felt the same way.
Right.
I didn't want to let the secondary down. They was looking at me to lock up number one receivers. I didn't want to let them down. You know, the other defensive linemen didn't want to let AD down. The other edge rushers didn't want to let Vaughn down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Then on the offensive side, our receivers did not want to let Matthew down. They wanted to prove that he could be that piece,
Right.
and do it. You know what I'm saying? The other receivers didn't want to let Odell down, Cup down. You know what I mean? The running backs, Sony and Darryl, they didn't want to let nobody down. The offensive linemen didn't want to have Stafford be touched. They didn't want to let him down. Like, that's how I feel that A-Rob is doing for the offense right now, and I feel that is probably the most important thing. Like, man, the linemen be pissed off if he getting touched. That's how it should be. You should feel that way. The running backs want to have a good running game so that they can open it up for him so he can sling the ball around crazy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? DK, the other receivers, the receivers don't want to let DK down. They don't want to have him take the whole, you know, they don't want it all to be on him. Everybody wants to step up. Everybody wants to be great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's like a big, important key in bringing all of it together. And then obviously you got the special one-on-one stuff that he does that it's like, yo, I don't even know how to defend this. I don't even know how to guard this. You know, and then he's building the chemistry with DK, his tight ends, and everybody. It's like, yo, some of this stuff is insane. It's only making us better in practice too.
Do you feel that there's a lot of pressure to prove that you guys aren't the NFL version of the LA Clippers? And what I mean by that is, you look great on paper, you got the names, you got the resumes, but you still got to go out there and do it.
100%. The type of guys we haven't thought about it that way. I don't think we even will think about it that way.
Right.
For example, if you go ask A-Rob, is he too old or if he's washed, like, see what his response is going to be. He going to say, come watch me.
Right.
Come watch me. Come watch what I do. See what this old man can do. You ask Slay that, he going to tell you the same thing. Put your number one receiver up there. That's what Slay going to say. And then ask him after the game how that's going to be.
Right.
It's all going to tell the story once we line up.
Mm-hmm.
Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, Friday, I don't even care. It don't matter what day it is. That's the type of team we got. We'll line it up.
It should be that way.
So,
yeah.
No, we don't think about it that way. Cool. I'm glad that we look good on paper. We look good on Madden and all that good stuff. But we grinding to look good in real life too.
Right.
So when you line up, you gotta feel it.
And is it on with all them personalities, all that talent? Like you brought up some names in LA you played with, super talented. This team is super talented as well. Is it on y'all to figure each other out? The egos, anything? Is it Mike T or does it come to coaching staff or is it a vet saying, hey, okay, like you said, y'all work it out yourself?
It's a collective for sure, but
I'm respect and I'm scared of Mike T a little bit. I ain't gonna lie, love him, but I'm scared of him.
This is the thing about Mike T. He does have an open door policy where we can come, we can talk to him, we can maybe bring suggestions and stuff like that. But a true leader. I'm talking about true leader. At the end of the day, sometimes it's just like, you know, growing up in the house. Sometimes if I say something, I ain't got to tell you why. It's just, this is what we doing around here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how my pops was with me and my brother. We couldn't ask him no why. If Pops say get up at 6:30 and make our shakes before we drive to school, that's what we better do. And it ain't he got a reason that he asking us to do that. So we better shut up, we better do it. He got some of that in him.
Yeah,
For sure. And we respect the hell out of it though.
Yeah.
We respect it. I mean, how can you not? Proof is in the pudding of how his coaching careers went. So there's definitely some of that, but other than that, yeah, we figure it out with each other. We figure, you know, certain things out with each other, but going back to the example with me and Joey, it's all love though. Like, I love seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad that he in his mind is the number one corner on this team. And I'm definitely gonna have that mindset that I'm the #1 DB on this team. Whether it's safety, nickel, corner, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's only gonna elevate this team though. So it's been all good.
You know that made me think Kobe said when he played Mike the first time, everybody's like, you don't talk to Mike like that or you don't do that. And he said, nah, like I'm telling him I'm that too. You know what I mean?
100%.
It feels like that. Like whether it's the offensive players, y'all on defense, you like, nah, I get that you're that,
100%.
but I'm that too.
Y'all wanna know a crazy story? This is crazy. I've actually never given this backstory. So everybody know the Steve Spiff when me and Steve got into it. So Jacksonville was different, as you know, at the time. It was different. We was sorry. We,
Trying to figure it out.
We did not have a lot of guys that loved football, in my opinion.
Right.
We didn't have a lot of tough guys, things like that, whatever. That whole week, I remember, we was playing the Ravens too. That whole week, it was, and my teammates at the time, they knew how I am. So the whole week was, yo, Jalen, don't talk to Steve. Don't talk to Steve. Don't argue with Steve. Don't diss with Steve. Don't nothing with Steve. He crazy. He gonna spaz. He gonna do it. You gonna turn him up. And the whole week, this is back in Jacksonville, I'm like, y'all crazy. Like, I'm that. Like, I don't care what he talking about. I'm that. Like, I'm really that. So I don't even care. So how it popped off was I was personally playing pretty well, but at the time we had a nickel and he ended up getting a flag. He pushed one of our nickels at the end of the play. That was my moment. So I went over there, pushed him, boom, boom, boom. And then it was like a little smaller scuffle, nothing crazy. Y'all know football scuffles. It got broken up. At the end of the game, that's why he came up to me. He was like, in his exact words, I won't even forget. His exact words were, yo, youngin, you straight, but you better watch who you talking to. You better watch who you. And I started laughing at him. Like, he a little bit shorter than me or whatever, but I started laughing at him. I'm like, I'm that. What you mean? I'm that. You coming up to me after the game. And then that's the locker room thing. You coming up to me after the game. You old man acting like that. Cool. That's how that happened, though. Yeah. So, just to go back to the story of when Kobe was like saying that about Mike, like, I'm that too. That's always been my mindset. And we got a lot of dudes on this team who got that same mindset. Right. Like, yo, no, I'm that too. It may not be seen yet, but I'm that too. Like, I see a lot of that in my teammates, and I love that. Like, I love that. Like, that's gonna make us great.
I have a question for you, man. You speak about your father and that relationship so highly. And in our game, it's not often you get to see some of those same qualities in the person that is in charge of leading the team. And you've had great coaches. Sean McVay is a great football coach.
For sure.
Right? But Sean McVay is different than Mike T.
Yeah.
When you call your pops and you're having those conversations, what's some of the back and forth between the two of you about the place you're in now?
He honestly asked me about Mike T more than he asked me about anything else. Like, before he asked me about a teammate, he asked me about errol a little bit and things like that, but before he asked me about teammates, he always asked me about Mike T. How's that? How's he as a coach? Obviously he knows the relationship me and Sean have and got a lot of respect for him as well, but like immediately, I even remember, and my dad kind of old school too, so the Steelers kind of got that old school feel about him and stuff like that, hard-working city, just even the city in general. When the trade got announced, I was in London, so I had to fly straight here just to, sign all the paperwork and stuff like that. My pops was like, yo, can I just meet you there? And I'm like, yo, ain't nobody there. Like, it ain't nothing, ain't nobody there. I'm like, Mike T ain't there. Like, nobody's there. I'm literally going to sign my paper and I'm leaving the next day. Like, it ain't nobody there. But, man, he's so excited for me, for this opportunity, just for the team, for me to, play under a coach that I have a ton of respect for and that I've always had a ton of respect for and that, like, I've looked up to, like, growing up and stuff like that. So he's been super excited for me. He kind of feels the same way as I do, like, yo, like, let's get it this year. Like, show all your talents if that's what they're going to let you do. You know what I mean? Push yourself. Make sure you grinding. Like, my pop's old school. He excited for me. He think it's good.
In year 10, how much has this change re-energized you? Like, you always played the game tough. Mm-hmm. You always played hard. You always tried to be your best. You tried to excel. But I've watched you move around in your career, and it seems like you're also searching for the optimal place for you at that time in life. right? And that changes as we evolve.
100%.
As you've evolved, how much has this fit re-energized you as the human, even more so as the player?
More than I could probably explain, to be honest. Like, when I got traded from LA, I was like literally praying to go to Miami. Like, and it was probably not for all the right reasons. Obviously, football has always and will always be very important for me. But I also had other things in the back of my mind too. Like, yo, I want to live in a good city. I want my kids to enjoy life and, be in the sun and have pool year round and this. I want my family to like coming to visit me and this and that. It was other stuff that added on to that as well. With this decision, I'm like, man, I promise you, I prayed to God completely different than I prayed like the last trade.
Talk about that
I prayed like, my prayer was so different. It was like, yo, please reveal what you want from me. Like right now, in this moment, please reveal what you want from me. I ain't even asking. I don't even want to go to a specific, I don't want to go anywhere specific. Like, it came out like, oh, he want to be back out in LA. He want to do this. Man, I ain't never prayed. I ain't prayed that one time. I'm talking about never. I was like, it would have been cool. Don't get it twisted, but I ain't prayed that one time. I'm like, yo, please reveal to me where you want me to be and why you want me to be there. As things kind of unfolded and, obviously they checked in very early. And at the beginning, when they checked in, A-Rod wasn't here yet and it was a lot of uncertainty. So in my mind, I'm like, nah, man, that can't be it. You know what I mean? Like, nah, that can't be it. And then it was just like the persistent, like, it kept coming up, whether it was like little reminders daily or it was like, oh, now A-Rob's there. Now I'm getting more phone calls or like, man, randomly, David called me one day and was like, yo, you been in California? Because I go out to California. He like, yo, you been in California working out with DK and A-Rob? I'm like, nah, like, I ain't seen it. Like, I ain't even seen him. He like, yo, somebody just called me, told me you was out there with him. I'm like, nah, not even. And then working out at UCLA and then like, right when I'm getting there, DK leaving, just like a bunch of stuff just kept happening. And I'm like, man, is this something for me? And my pop's been preaching this whole offseason like, yo, Jay, get back to the basics. Like, let's get it. Like, come back home. Let's grind. Let's get back to it. Let's build yourself, an all-around athlete. Like, stop focusing on just one thing or like, let's build it all up. So it all just came together and like my family's so supportive. My kids are so happy. Like, and it's just, I feel like it's just me, my teammates, football, like, and I love every bit of it. Like, I've just been embracing everything that's going on in my life. Like, life is really good for me right now. Life is great.
You say you pray for something different, and this is definitely different.
Yeah, for
right?
sure.
There's more tradition than the other teams you've been to. More championships, more fans that travel, the craziest fans. I love them just because of that. Wish I could have played for some. But it's also more snow. You haven't played in a cold city. You ready for all of that and those changes and just everything that come with it?
Yeah, I ain't tripping on it. I'm cool with it. My brothers, my teammates, they gonna be out there with me. If we cold, we cold. We still gonna rock though while we cold. I'm telling you that.
Everybody cold though.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody, we still gonna rock.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't none of, like, cool. It'll give us an advantage if that's what people want to say, later in the season. If it gives us an advantage, it gives us an advantage. But yeah, I'm cool. I bought me a little Ram truck. I'm ready. I got rid of the Rolls Royce, all of that. Give me the Ram truck.
You know what's funny is the Steelers parking lot doesn't look like an NFL parking lot. Like I remember I was coming from Washington and we had Clinton Portis. He had every type of car you could think of. LeVar Arrington. We had all these big contracts and these dudes, like even the wives would show up to the game different. They'd be in heels and dressed to the nines. And then when we got to Pittsburgh, it was folks drove Ram trucks. Yeah. At the time, old man Rooney had a Buick. You know what I'm saying? Like, cats just came to the stadium to play football.
That's it. We about football.
You know what I mean?
Like, I ain't gonna lie, I love this, y'all. Like, this remind me of, like, when I was, like, younger. Broke, ain't had nothing. I'm just, man, Pops take me to the field. I'm ready to play, man. We gonna warm up. We gonna play football. Like, it's about football around here. Like,
You mentioned your family, Jay. You know, you were a young father, right? And there's no one who can know you, who can watch you from the outside and say, oh, wait, that's a huge part of his life. How has evolving in that way, growing in that way, made something like this okay for you? Because it isn't the place everybody wants to visit. You dang near don't need a pool at all, much less need a pool year round. It's not going to be the fun nightlife. How much, though, as being the father that you are now says, you know what? This can work for me and them too.
100%. The way I want to raise obviously I love my mom and my pops, and I think they did an amazing job with me and my big brother. And I want to raise my kids similar, not the same, but similar. I want them to see, like, yo, Pop's getting up at 6 o'clock to go to work. He ain't getting back to way later. Like, I want them to see the hard work, the sacrifices. I don't really care too much for my kids to see the glamour, all of this. No, I want them to know and see what hard work is. So cause I be training my daughters and everything like that. So when I'm on them, like, they know I'm on the same thing. And I even preach to my daughters and stuff like that. Like, yo, you want to be a winner, right? This what winners do.
Right.
This is what champions do. Or do you want to be a loser? Like, I'll call my daughters right now and I'll say, what do winners do? And they'll tell me straight up what a winner does. And I say, what do losers do? And they'll tell me what a loser does. And I'm gonna say, so which one we gonna be? They say, they'll tell me we're gonna be the winner. And obviously, my daughters are super athletic, you know, athletes on both sides, whatever. But that's the type of stuff I'm trying to instill in them. It's like the hard work, you know, even in terms of like manners. Like, you know, they meet y'all, they meet anybody, it's gonna be yes, sir. It's gonna be no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. That type of stuff. And I feel like here in Pittsburgh, things are not superficial. Like, you know, you kind of have sometimes in Miami, in LA, and things like that. Like, nah, people around here, they work hard, they got manners, you know, they're super respectful. And those are the type of things I'm trying to teach my kids.
I love that.
It is cool, and you get drafted to Pittsburgh off the bat. You're just gung-ho about it now, but would your career be different if you were here for 10 years?
Probably so, yeah, 100%.
Because you talking about the gold jacket, you talk about, you know, you in them conversations, but
100%.
But what would be the difference? You had a Super Bowl in LA, you was a Pro Bowler, everywhere you were, all pro. Why would it be so different in Pittsburgh?
Let me say this. I embrace every part of my journey, and I think that every single part has been important for specific reasons at that specific time, and it's all led me to here and being super appreciative of where I'm at right now. Let me say that. If I would have started my career here, it probably would have been different. My focus may have been a little bit different at times. I may have been here just my whole career. Like, this is like a place where I feel like, one, they take care of their own. I truly believe that they take care of their own. But two, guys really want to be here. Like I've heard them say it when they were going through TJ's contract. I was watching Mike T's interviews and stuff. He like, yo, both sides want to get it done, so it's going to get done, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's not always the case when you at everywhere, but here, it's like, nah, I want to be here, man. Let's figure it out. Let's do it the right way. They handle business the right way. Fans are amazing here. Coaching staff is amazing here. They're always winning here. It's not much to not be happy about if you truly love football. Like you say you do.
You do know that playing here comes with a very different responsibility to the community and to the fan base than playing in LA and Miami. We don't have entertainers and rappers, and we don't have actors and celebrities. We got Steelers, we got Penguins, and we got Pirates. And the name I said first is the most important
100%.
name. When you win on Sunday, it's a different vibe when you see everybody walk to work.
100%.
On Fridays, when you drive through the city, there's going to be women in business suits with 5 jerseys on going to work. Like that is proper work day attire. What's expected here is different. What's going to be expected of Jalen Ramsey and everything that they've ever heard about you here is different. I think you got to meet him last week. He don't talk much. He wears his hoodie super tight. We FaceTime with him. Like, there's a lineage of the Mel Blunts and the Rod Woodsons and the Troy Palomalus, and they're going to expect you to have that sort of impact
100%.
on this team. When you think about the lineage of the organization and now the position you play, how much do you relish in the opportunity to uphold that standard?
I wouldn't want anything other than that. Truly. Like, that's when I thrive, honestly. You put the pressure on me, that's when I thrive. Because if I am who I believe I am and who I say I am at times, then, it's going to show. So I wouldn't want it any other type of way. Like, I love that.
You cool with the executives and coaches believing differently now? There's an off-season list that, for as long as I can remember, you were at the top of. When Jeremy Fowler would go on TV and he'd be like, here's the list of the top DBs or cornerbacks.
Yep.
Normally, Jalen Ramsey was square at the top. Now it's loaded with names like Pat Surtain and Derek Stingley Jr., Trent McDuffie. It's a lot of names that aren't Jalen Ramsey. Chan asked Devontae Adams about the same thing. Like what happens when you get to year 10 and 11 and nobody checking for you no more?
Start dropping down that list.
That's cool. That's cool with me. That's cool with me. And I got a lot of respect for those guys you named. A lot of respect for them. They're young. I hope they get paid. I hope they do their thing. But Jalen's I'm still that one. I'm still that one. I'm still the one that they was looking up to. I'm still the one that they still gonna be taking parts of their game and trying to copy mine. I'm still that. It's like Charles. Charles didn't win Defensive Player of the Year till year 9. I'm in 10. You know what I mean? I'm still going.
That's kind of impact you plan on having?
For sure. God willing. You know what I mean? Stay. Obviously.
That's the same smile when we asked Mike T about having all 3 of y'all corners on the team.
Yeah.
He stood up and smiled too.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man. We like I said, it's all gonna show once we get on that field. But it's all gonna show when we get on the field. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm cool. I'm cool with that. I'm 100% cool with that. I think that's how it should be. I think that's how the sport should be. If you have a down year or whatever, you should be graded on your performance. So throughout my career, I've kind of built up my resumes to where this is what people expect of me. So if I'm anything less than this elite player, then that's terrible, right? I'm cool with that. One, that means that I've done something in my career. That's off the bat. And 2, that means that people are assessing me and grading me fairly. And I'm cool with that as part of this game. I'm cool with that. So now I got to show them that, all right, it's still that. And I'm cool. And I'm cool with giving people little reminders.
Man, listen, bro. I thank you for your time, man. I mean, we get to talk pretty often because I see you. But to see you in black and gold, it just does my heart.
Yeah, man.
My heart will. I was excited to even connect you and TP on FaceTime, man. I think you fit what we do here, and I think people getting an opportunity to see you be your authentic self, both on the field and off, in this uniform is different. You've been able to shine wherever you are, but it's like that thing, this great player has been so many places, right? When does he find a home? Your career is not like mine. Anyway, so much better player. But I remember when I first met Mike T, he called me a journeyman. And I was like pissed. But it was just true. I had been to 3 different places and he's like, but we're going to make this your home. So from Steeler Nation to you, man, I hope we make this your home.
You and me both. You and me both, man.
Man, appreciate you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you, dog. Shit, stupid, dog.
Oh,
He was like, yeah, I'm still that one.
Okay. Carry that.
Yeah, he was like,
You gotta carry it.
he's like, I'm still that one. That's what's crazy about these people like him that's been good the entire time, like Derwin. You know what I'm saying? It's a confidence level that go with that.
Playing is perfect.
Yeah.
I set my damn bar so high that you compare me to me.
Straight up. Yeah. Straight up.
Y'all really think about that? Yeah. I'm not really comparing you to number 4.
Yeah.
You're not what you used to be.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
It's dang, Jalen wasn't on this year. He losing it. So it's like, okay, I gotta remind him that I'm still on it.
Yeah,
You know. I'm still on
Oh,
that.
they excited.
They believe it here.
They what?
Oh, and I'm gonna prove these folks right.
Yeah.
That's one thing about that.
They believe.
Man, welcome to the Pivot CC, man. Congratulations on the Hall of Fame. This is Fred Taylor. This is Channing Crowder. I'm Ryan Clark, Pivot fam. Thank you for pivoting with us. Man, first of all, congratulations. Just an illustrious career, man. 19 seasons, Cy Young winner, World Series champion, 6-time All-Stars. Shoot, 3,000 strikeouts, 250 games won. Just so many milestones that you were able to accomplish throughout your career, which obviously lands you in Cooperstown. Bro, being a kid from Vallejo, California, man, when Jack O'Connell from the Baseball's Writers Association calls you and tells you be headed to Cooperstown, what was your first thought?
My real first thought was my dad being super happy. My dad was the one who started me playing baseball. He was a coach before I was born, so he was determined to make me an athlete, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just feel like I lived up to what I was supposed to for him. I felt like that when I first made it to the big leagues, and then I felt like that when I played for the Yankees, and then I got that feeling again, you know, when I got the call to the Hall of Fame, and it was just a real feeling, you know, like you said, being from Vallejo, and the odds of me making it to Cooperstown from there are slim to none. And I think Pedro said it best first. He said, if a kid like me can make it, or a kid like him can make it from the DR, from Vallejo, then anybody literally can make it to the Hall of Fame, and that's how I feel.
Right, but anybody can't make it to the Hall of Fame. I ain't even we be pointing in the next question, bro. No. It's something special. It's something about you, bro. We all watched you. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was something that you did different. There was something that your dad did different. There was something that made you be on the show, like to go to the Hall of Fame. What was that when you look back now in retrospect? Little CC and what building up, you know, and being the guy that you are now, a Hall of Famer.
I think just being able to go through adversity, I think just being able to keep going forward, you know, no matter what was happening off the field, in my life, as a kid, whatever, when I got onto the baseball field or the football field or basketball, like that was where I knew what, you know, I could predict the outcome most of the time, especially if I'm on the mound. From the time that I was like 9 years old, I figured out, I was like, oh, this all starts and stops on me. Like, I'm in control of everything. And like, me being the only child and wanting everybody's attention, like, that's a perfect spot for me to be in the middle of the diamond, you know what I'm saying? So once I figured that out, I just kind of like, just gravitated towards that. And I loved being in those big moments, whether I failed or succeeded. I just wanted to be out there, and that was the way I could perform. You know, if you ever hear like comedians performing in front of their family or rappers performing in front of their family in the living room, that was like my performance. Like all my family was there, all my parents were there, all that stuff. And that was the way I felt like I could perform as a kid.
Right. First off, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Perfect birthday gift, right? But no, I heard you delayed knee surgery.
Yeah.
So you can walk across the stage, right? What does that walk represent for you, and who are you doing it for?
I think the walk represents, for me, I feel like Vallejo, like my hometown, is so rich in like talent and sports history. And like when I was a kid, I only wanted to be just the best for my hometown. Like I went to the high school games as a kid, and I was the ball boy for the football team and all these different things. Like I wanted to be that guy, and to be able to walk across the stage and say I'm from Vallejo, it just, you know, feel like I represent the city and all the talent that comes from that city. And I delayed the knee surgery more for golf than.
He said, I'm gonna get this knee surgery when it get cold.
Man, who the fuck get knee surgery in the middle of the summertime? That shit don't make no sense.
That's what old rich guys do.
Yeah,
they play golf a lot.
Yeah, we don't do that. You know, you mentioned your father right away, and I thought that was extremely telling, just based on what he did to get you here in your career, but also he passed when you were relatively young, you know, being 23 years old. And I read somewhere you said you don't feel like you processed it right away. Do you feel like moving forward now you've processed that to a place where now in sharing this moment with him or thinking about him in this moment, you can think about the good things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you said it perfectly. I never processed him passing away at 23 years old. My oldest son's 21 now. He was just born at the time. And it was just so much going on. Like, I was still trying to establish myself as a big leaguer. I was super young. I still needed his guidance. And then I was becoming a father. So I was angry for a long time and just didn't understand what I was going through. And I think that's what led to all the drinking. I mean, I think I had a drinking problem from the start, but I think that's what like pushed me over the edge. And I don't think I ever processed it until I actually went to rehab and had a chance to like sit down, let my brain shut off and like really honestly try to figure out why I'm drinking so much. And being able to go through that process, go through the grieving process really at 35, 12 years later, and then understand what he meant to me, what he means to me. And there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about my dad. But now, like you said, I can think about him in a good way, you know?
One of the greatest pictures of his era, when he finally realizes he needs help, what's the process of truly coming forward and seeking that help and spending that month in rehab?
It was something that was kind of like boiling over for like 2 years, 3 years. I knew I had a drinking problem. I knew I was destroying my family. I just didn't care because I was more selfish and still worried about how I'm gonna sleep at night or how I'm gonna get to the next day. And I think in 2015, I was just literally tired. I was fed up, like I couldn't stop. And that was the first time where I really realized like, oh, this is a problem. Like I can't stop if I wanted to.
Damn.
And you know, I spent that weekend in Baltimore. We had a rain out and I spent the weekend in Baltimore drinking nonstop. And I went into the office and talked to Joe Girardi and Chad Bowling was our mental conditioning coach at the time. And we called Brian Cashman and they were on board. But the two people that I always give credit to the most is Dylan Betances and Chris Young. I'm forever in debt to them because they knew my struggle and what was going on as a teammate. And I went to them first and told them what was happening. And they both right away was like, you're making the right decision. You're doing the right thing for your family. Don't worry about us. You need to get right. And it was the best decision I could have ever made. And I'm so thankful for everybody that was there in that moment. I'm thankful for my family, my wife, obviously, but the Yankee organization for being able to support me and, you know, my teammates being able to have my back. It was a good moment for me.
And bro, it's something I asked recently to Kirk Franklin, because he said he had a porn addiction, and I was like, a porn addiction, like I like looking at naked people too. I like looking at, like I enjoy porn, like what, like an addiction. So for you to say I'm an alcoholic, but I just can't enjoy a couple drinks. Like what's the difference between, I can go out, I have me a couple glasses of wine with the wife, and that now I'm an alcoholic?
No, for me, I was never going out to just have a couple of glasses of wine. Like every time I was going to get fucked up. Every single time. From the time that I started drinking though, like at 14, the first time I had a drink, I mean, by the time I was 14 though, I had already been like, you know, my grandfather passed away and, you know, all these different things. My parents had split up. I'm going through all these different things. And I had a drink, and the very first night I got up and I was like, oh yeah, this is where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? This is it. And it was from that time until I was 35, so basically 21 years, I never had a drink just with the intentions of it being a good time or I'm just gonna sip this. Like it was always, I'm having 7 to 9 drinks, Long Island's, whatever it was never just, you know, for a good time. It was always get up, always.
Yeah.
How did you recognize that? Because I drink.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
He stopped drinking.
I
Like,
didn't know.
We'll have a couple drinks, we'll hang out, we're going to get on the flight, we'll grab us a cocktail.
See,
but
like if we were all together, we were in the airport, and back when I was drinking, and we would go to the bar, have a couple of drinks, like you would have to carry me off the plane. There was no stopping me from getting up at the bar, or I could have missed the flight. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always too far. Like everybody else could go right here, I could never stop. It was always going too far, and it took me forever to recognize that. And yeah, I mean that's why it took me to 35 to be able to go to rehab and say, yo, I need help, and maybe this is something that I can't do. And I think I was drinking, you know, social anxiety, different things. You think you need to show up and be, you know, the light in the room and all these different things. And once I stopped drinking, 1, I had way more fun, and 2, I have more fun socially. I don't have any anxiety going out socially because I'm myself. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm not gonna ruin a night or say something fucked up and, you know, be trying to call and y'all, man, what happened last night? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah, real talk.
I was one of those guys.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't want to pound away at it too much, but you know, you mentioned being in Baltimore for it, and you go to Joe Girardi, but you guys have a wild card game the next day, right? And you're in the midst of your career. The team is dependent on you as a leader. How difficult was it to actually say, you know what, I'm gonna go to rehab now, and I'm not gonna hold out?
You know what was crazy? It wasn't, but every moment up until that moment, I had made every decision for baseball. And in that moment, that was the first time I made a decision for my family and myself.
Got it.
During my career. Every other decision I ever made was for baseball, to get better, to do everything on the field. And at that moment was the first time I ever made the decision for my family, for myself, to be a better person. I didn't even hesitate. And like I said, the way my teammates and everybody reacted made me feel like I made the right decision. They could have been like, nah, let's just wait. Let's wait. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's win.
wait until October. No, wait after the playoffs. Then that would have made me feel like I'm hiding it. The biggest thing that helped me and that helps me stay sober is that everybody knows. So if I go to a bar in the airport,
You're being judged immediately.
Yeah, some guys like gonna take a picture and be like, "Oh, I thought you were sober."
Right.
Oh, you do all this work. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing that happened to me is that I didn't have to hide it, and it was public right away. And now everybody knows, and now I'm naked. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm out here, and this is me, and I'm vulnerable, and that's exactly what I needed.
Did that support from the team and the organization push that competitiveness within you to not fail through your rehab journey?
Yeah, I felt like I didn't want to let people down, but then there were some people that were like, he's not going to stay. You know what I mean? Like, he'll be there for 2 weeks. We need to prepare for what's going to happen when he comes out of there, or if he can't make it. And yeah, I mean, that kind of like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here to make myself better. Like, I am going to see this through. And, 9 years later, I mean, it does feel good. I mean, I'm glad you asked that.
And the last thing on it, is there anything you can share for anybody out there that might be struggling?
I think just to recognize it and not to run from it. Like, if you think you have a problem, then you have a problem. And for me, it wasn't like I wanted to wait until something happened. I didn't want to wait until I lost my family or a DUI or something is hit the news. Like, everybody rock bottom is different, right? And my rock bottom was me sitting in the room in Baltimore realizing I can't stop drinking this white Hennessy.
Right.
And some people come to that realization, at different times, but if you recognize that, then there's help out there for you. And a lot of people struggle with this. It's a disease. And I always tell people this, like, that month in rehab, I feel like as grown men, we should all get like a month off to go, or a week or 2 weeks to go work on yourself. You know what I'm saying? To like reset, a vacation, do whatever. Like, we all under so much pressure. Y'all work so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do you ever get a chance to like check in mentally, do different things? So that month was everybody knew where I was at. I didn't have to have my phone, and I was working on myself. It was the best month that I could have spent on myself.
And that's beautiful. You mentioned that every decision you made was a baseball decision. This was the first one for self. When you become a husband and a father, self includes your family. And I know that had to be a big piece of it too. You just said, I didn't want to get to the point to where I lost my family. How much did they weigh into the decision as well? And how have you seen yourself change as a father and the husband and your family as a whole since becoming sober?
Yeah, no, I think it was a huge decision. And I don't think I thought about that at the time. I think as I got into rehab and started, doing the work and thinking about myself as a father and the age that my dad, he was 47 when he passed away, and just thinking about how much I still needed him. I was 23 and I got the same age gap for my oldest son, and I'm like, I need to make sure that I'm here, I'm healthy, like my mind is sound, to be able to help my son in the struggles that I had through my teens and 20s and all these different things when my pops passed away. So it made a huge impact on me, like making that decision for not only myself, but the way, I can be a father, I can be a husband, I can parent my kids now without being so angry or having the patience now to understand what they're going through. At that time, Lil C was 12 when I went in. Carter would have been 5. So none of them knew I was in alcohol rehab except for Carson. They all just thought I was going to rehab for my knee.
Gotcha.
Because that was something that, they're used to. So he was the only one that kind of had to really live and go through it. But I do think it made me a better father and gave me a better perspective of what I need to be as a man for my kids going forward and what I missed in my dad,
We all look back as grown men, now we see 22-year-old CC,
Yeah.
and you can see it. Bro, the fame of being the ace, how did that change you? Because I know you because I know, like, now with these young pitchers, like, I want to watch the ace go out there and do it. Bro, you was the ace.
Yeah.
Like, you gonna go out there and boom, boom, boom their ass.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to see it. Like, you just said it, sitting on that mound, the attention that you wanted, now you have. How did that change you to be the center of baseball? Bro, you were the center, I don't want to kiss nobody's ass, bro. You were the center of baseball for years.
I guess it was hard to get used to because I was so young, but I thought that's what I wanted. Like, I thought that's where I was supposed to be. I thought, once I got to be the ace, that it was going to be automatic, that I was going to, have these games where I go out and pitch well every single time. My, life off the field was going to be great, and I had to grow through all of that stuff. You know what I mean? I really feel like I always tell people I was born and raised in California, but I kind of grew up in Cleveland. I was there from the time I was 17 till I was 27, so, I had 4 of my kids were there. I got married there. I got robbed. I had some tough times. I got robbed there. My father passed away when we lived there. So I really did some, living and through some trials and tribulations. I figured out how to become that ace and that pitcher through my later 20s. So yeah, it was something I had to grow into, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't have playoff success right away. I wanted to go into the playoffs and be that Pedro or that Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, and go out and throw shutouts, and that didn't happen. I went out in 2007, won the Cy Young during the regular season, and kind of shit the bed in the playoffs. And if I don't, we win the World Series. We're the best team. It was kind of all on me. It was, it was in my court. And then the next year I get traded to Milwaukee, and I get to pitch down the stretch, and I learned in 07. And then the next year I come here, and I'm down the stretch, and we win the World Series. So I had to kind of grow into what I became.
In Milwaukee, when you were pitching on 3 days' notice often, and Chan mentioned being the ace, you're about to go into free agency, which we know you ended up getting a landmark contract. What was it in you that you did learn in Cleveland, or you learned in the playoffs when you didn't pitch as well, that said, no, like, if y'all need me to be on the mound, it doesn't matter if I don't have the right amount of time. I'm not looking to see what's going to happen next year. Put the ball in my hand and I can lead you there. What was it about being in Milwaukee for that short stint that made you so sure that's what the way you needed to pitch?
I think you said it right, and the question is what I learned in Cleveland. And it was learning to be a good teammate and learning to be there. If I'm available and if I'm able to pitch, I want the ball. When I got traded, I had never played in any other organization. I was scared to death. I cried. I didn't want to go. And Amber she was pregnant at the time. She was like, man, fuck that. Them people want you there. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta go somewhere where they want you. We had this conversation 2 different times in my career. But she was like, you gotta go where them people want you. Like, they called and was like, after I got traded on the Sunday, we're like, hey, you can take a couple days and, wait till you come. And she was like, no, you need to go. So I left on that next day, pitched on Tuesday, and then pitched on Sunday. And I felt like as soon as I walked into that clubhouse, I had been there for 15 years. It was Prince Fielder was in there, Ricky Weeks, Mike Cameron. It was so many different guys, Billy Hall. And I was like, oh, this is great. I feel at home. And honestly, I didn't want the season to end. I was healthy, I was available, and everybody was freaking out because they was like, oh, you going to free agency? Why are you pitching so much? That was the only time in my career where I really felt like I knew that I was going to win those games. So I'm like, I'm making myself more money. Like, I need the ball more time so I can show these motherfuckers, like, I can pitch in these big games. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, in my mind, I'm like, no, I'm not hurting my chances. I'm making more money. So that's all that was. And
I know his agent was like, no.
My agent was going crazy. He was pissed. He wouldn't even come to the games. He was like, no. And I would go in there and tell them, like, yo, I'm pitching in 3 days. Like, it wasn't the Brewers. It wasn't anybody other than me telling them, like, this is my schedule, this is what I'm doing. And, you know, they were freaking out. Everybody was kind of on edge, but I was like, nah, this is like, you know, when you're in the zone, you like, I mean, this is the only time that I know that I'm gonna go out and win these games. Like, I'm taking the ball.
Yeah, that competitive instinct just takes over. Question, your first catcher, still your favorite?
Yeah, and my first catcher was Victor Martinez.
No, I thought your mother was your first.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, she still got to be
Oh,
your
yeah.
favorite.
Nah, that's a great one, yeah.
Right, no,
that's a great one.
I want to talk about her resilience and sacrifice, man, to be able to help, you know, in your journey to get you going.
You know what's crazy about that, Fred, is like my speech is basically about her and all the women in the village of women that raised me from my hometown. Like the first question that you asked, right away I always go to my dad, right? Like that's the first person I think about when I think about my success or think about me being an athlete. But the way my mom raised me and the advice that she gave me, the savviness that she had to be able to navigate the shit that we were going through off the field. You know, my parents split up. My mom was trying to figure out a way, you know, for me to continue playing, for a place for us to live. We moved in with her sister, and then my grandfather passed away, and then we ended up moving in with my grandmother, and she was working nights and just trying to figure out, you know, any kind of way for me to be able to play sports. And, you know, she was my agent. When I got drafted, we went through the whole agent process and met with every agent from, you know, Scott Boras to whoever else, and she was like, I don't trust anybody. I'm gonna do this deal. So when I got drafted, like, she was the one that called the Indians at the time and, you know, got me my signing bonus. You know, my senior year of high school, everybody wanted me to quit playing football. Nobody wanted me to play basketball because everybody wanted me to focus on the draft. You got a chance to get drafted in the first round. And my mom was like, you've been playing with these boys your whole life. These are your best friends. And if you're really gonna be this baseball player that everybody thinks you're gonna be and you think you're gonna be, this is gonna be your last time playing organized football. Your last time playing basketball with your boys. Go out and have fun. Yeah. And I'm so grateful that she was able to like have perspective and give me that advice because, you know, growing up in the situations that we grew up, I had a lot of friends that were probably better athletes than me, but I don't think had the infrastructure or the love from the support from the house that I was getting. So I'm always grateful for my mom, and I always tell her, you know, I'll pick my mom in any lifetime, at any time.
Man, that's awesome.
You know, that's how, you know, how much she's meant to me and as a person and you know, in my career.
You were a multi-sport star. You just mentioned football. You had a scholarship to Cal. Mm-hmm. Bo Jackson, another multi-sport star. What's the story behind the Tat?
I mean, growing up in the 80s and 90s, like, he was the guy, right? But more so for me, just like my inspiration. Like, I strive to be a great athlete. Like Bo Jackson was all over every wall, every poster, everything that I ever had. And I wanted to be Bo Jackson. Right. Like, I really, every day, left my house going out in the summertime, you know what I'm saying? And that's who I was. So everybody that's on this leg is an inspiration to me, and I don't think that I would be here without them, for sure. This is my cousin who passed away in 2012, but probably the best athlete in my family. Not probably, for sure the best athlete in my family and who I originally wanted to be. So everybody that I have tatted on this leg is somebody that's a huge inspiration to me, and Bo was, you know, probably number one.
I mean, you gotta be tall though. My leg's little, and I'm 5'11". Hey, you gotta go both legs.
Fit all that shit.
You can go get them little baby tattoos.
You gotta get that shit up.
You gonna have some yearbook
They gonna
pictures.
see their faces. Yeah, baby pictures. You know what I mean?
He said some yearbook pictures.
Hey, see, man. In listening to you talk about your mother, and you mentioned the strong village of women that raised you and sacrificed, you know, for you. I've met you a ton of times. I've seen you a ton of times. And trying to get you on the show, we not texting you. No. You know what I'm saying? We're not putting you in charge of that. You know, your wife, Amber, she's an agent, but also she's a massive support system. I don't know how many times you've mentioned her in just decision-making as it pertains to your career and your life. What has it meant to you to have a life partner as strong and supportive and loving as she's been?
Man, I think it's the reason why I'm sitting here. I think Now that I think I know, it's the reason why I was able to have a Hall of Fame career. Being able to have that type of support from somebody from, a young age. We met at 15 and 16 years old. I think she's seen right away kind of what I could be on both sides. So she was always keeping it real from the time that we were young, with the drinking and some of the bad decisions and all these different things. She was right there. And on the other side, the time I got drafted, every contract that I signed, she was right in the middle of all those negotiations. So when it came time for, us to move here, make the decision to come to New York, this is again us having this conversation about you going somewhere where people want you. At the same time, when I got traded, I was nervous to go to Milwaukee. When I came to New York, I had it in my mind that I was gonna play on the West Coast. I grew up in California, grew up in the Bay Area, and I'm like, I wanna play for the Dodgers, I wanna play for San Diego, Anaheim. And the very first day of free agency, the New York Yankees offered me a contract. I'm like, fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the furthest place away from home. You got all this drama and shit out here. I ain't got nowhere to live. I gotta be in Central Park in the city and people rude and shit. I'm like, this is the worst decision we could ever make. And we go through the whole process and, we're trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Little C was 5. We had a 3-year-old and we had a newborn. And she was like, wherever we go, we needed to be our home. We need to plant roots. We need to raise our kids. And I don't give a if it's on the moon. As long as our family is together, we can play anywhere. And when she said that, I was like, all right, that makes, you know what I'm saying? Like, that makes sense. Like, and again, she was like, the Yankees want you. You need to go somewhere where you want it. And it made that decision so much easier to be able to come here. And 16, 17 years later, best decision I ever made. But I have to give her a lot of credit in, being there every step of the way and kind of, getting my head out of the weeds and not wanting to come to New York. But having that support system is incredible. And I think my career ends up different if I don't get married young and if I don't have kids super young. I think my career is completely different.
Your wife and my wife, they're friends and all that. I always say get a co-pilot, don't get a passenger.
Yeah.
Because that's what Amber is.
Yes.
I don't know, it's morbid, but if I go in a coma tomorrow, our kids, our life doesn't change because Asia can run it. Is that a good thing, or what advice would you give to young boys about?
No, that's 100% right. I mean, marry the smartest person you know. You know what I'm saying? That's literally the advice I give everybody when young baseball players. I'm like, yo, marry the smartest girl you know. Somebody that's gonna have your back 100%. And I know, I feel like every decision that we make is for us as a family and for us as our legacy, especially now going forward. Everything that we are doing now is for our kids and hopefully our grandkids and, building that Sabathia name and that legacy.
And they gonna argue now.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you got to give up control. That made my life so much easier. When I stopped trying to control and just was like, just show me where to go. Tell me where to go, tell me where to be, and I'm so much easier now.
Yeah.
It's great. It's so much easier.
Cece, you mentioned coming to New York. Obviously, it turned into one of your best decisions ever. But the pressures that came along with coming to play for the Pinstripes, what was that like? Because the city is real crazy.
Yeah, it is. The city is passionate. You know what I'm saying? And especially for Yankee fans, like, they hold you accountable. They expect you to go out and throw 7, 8 innings every time out. That's what I expect out of myself. So once I figured out nobody can put more pressure on me than I already put on myself, I can figure this out. And I think the biggest thing that people try to do here is come here and, do too much, try to turn into Superman. When you come to the Yankees, especially at the time when I came, if you look around, that team was probably one of the better Yankee teams that was ever assembled. You had A-Rod at third, Jeter at short, Cano at second, Teixeira at first. Like, all you gotta do is just not fuck this up. And y'all gonna, you know what I'm saying? Y'all gonna win pretty much all of the games if you don't go out there and give up 7 runs in 3 innings. So once I figured out, like, oh, it's way less pressure because this team is a lot better than any team I've ever been on, it made it easier just to go out and be myself. And you kind of find a pocket where it's also fun to kind of find a pocket where you're not the superstar. Like, everything that happened, They're going straight to Jeter's locker, then they go into A-Rod's locker, then they go into Mo's locker. I'm like the 7th dude on this list.
Right.
Like, this is great. You know what I'm saying? So it became, you know, fun and easy once I kind of figured out, oh, I can be myself and you know, kind of fly under the radar here.
You ever think about the umpire that didn't give you the error, so you didn't get the no-hitter?
Man, you know what? Me and Jason Kendall are still really close. I see him all the time. And we were talking about this the other day. It happened so early in the game in Pittsburgh that I didn't pitch knowing that I was throwing a no-hitter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a different thing, going to the 6th, 7th inning, like, oh, he's got a no-hitter. We just thought it was a one-hit game. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I'm going out kind of pitching without the pressures of throwing a no-no. Had it happen later in the game, then we get that kind of build-up, and then I feel like it's more of a no-hitter. So I don't think about that. I don't let that bother me.
But bro, when you out there, like you say, you the man, you're running the game. And back now they got a pitch clock. So now whatever. But back then, the game don't start till you pitch it.
Yeah.
Like, that gotta be crazy to know that it goes and ends through me. The psychological side of that.
Yeah, like,
you got to get used to that as a kid to move up, because I see these dudes nut up all the time.
I mean, that's something that my high school coach kind of taught me, is that, like, you're in control. Like, if I want to walk around the mound, tie my shoe after every pitch, after every single pitch, I can do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved that part of it. Like, I always used to tell Hov, I was around Hov all the time, and like watching him, like from behind, like Rocca Stadium, is like, that's how you feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 50,000. I always say it's 50,000 people in the Bronx on a random Tuesday, and this shit don't start until like I'm ready. Like, you know, like, it's 7:05, but I can start this motherfucker at 7:08 if I want to. I can start at 7:06, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in control of this whole thing, and I think that was the most appealing part about, you know, pitching in the Bronx and being a starting pitcher in general, but just pitching in the Bronx and having that energy and knowing that it stops and starts on you is incredible.
Are there pitchers that'll pitch better in Milwaukee or in Texas than they will with that pressure? Like, it seems like it's so much. There are very talented, even football-wise, very talented quarterbacks that's gonna nut up. There's very talented people that's gonna nut up. Like, why don't you nut up when you in them situations?
Because I just explained, but that you have to understand, like, when you play for the Yankees, most times your team is gonna be really good. They're gonna trade. They're gonna, like, go sign whoever they can to make this team be a World Series contending team. So you don't have to do anything other than what you can do. Like when I talk about 07 and the playoffs in Cleveland, I was trying to go out and have this performance like Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling. Like, I wanted to go out and have this epic performance every single time out, 8 innings, 9 innings, and I didn't need to do that. All I need to do is just go out and do my little part. Go, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, stay in your lane, and if everybody stayed in the lane and do their part, kind of like the same thing on the football field. Like, everybody's got to hit their assignment. Everybody's got to block. Everybody got to do the right thing. And in baseball, it's kind of the same way.
I can give up 3, but they'll get us 4.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just don't give up fucking 7.
Well, they don't pull you before that anyway.
Just don't give up 7. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just don't completely it up.
Yeah.
And we gonna win.
You mentioned watching Hov rock a stage. That was like small flex. I just let it go. He's like, I'm behind him. I was like, well, damn. Every time I go to the concert, I'm in the stands, so I'm in front of the people. I never really get to see, but
he's not where I sit.
No, he ain't where I sit either. He ain't where I sit.
He real close.
Yeah, he real close. But the proximity to people like that is part of being in New York. And I think getting an opportunity to sit with people like you and others we've sat with that have accomplished and achieved greatness, it is inspiring. Who are some of those people, man, just like throughout your career or throughout your upbringing that, you know, you mentioned Bo Jackson already, that you looked at for inspiration as to this is the level of excellence you strive to in any walk of life?
Yeah, you know who is a huge one for me is Dave Stewart. He pitched for the A's in the late 80s. He's from Oakland. And at 9 years old, he walked in my Boys and Girls Club. And in the late 80s, early 90s, the percent of black baseball players at its highest. It was like 18%. So every team had 2 or 3 guys. I mean, you guys know we were about the same age. You can look on the TV and you can see a guy that looked like you. So I knew who Dave Stewart was, but the effect that he had on us in that Boys and Girls Club is something that I wanted. And that's the reason why I started my Pitch In Foundation and being in the neighborhood is I just didn't want to be a guy that you've seen on TV or this major league pitcher. I wanted to be the guy that you see like Willie Mays in Harlem playing stickball with the kids. That's the effect that kind of Dave Stewart had on me as a kid, and it's the reason why I do all the philanthropy work. And if I can just have one kid come up to me and say what I just said about me, about Dave Stewart, then it's all worth it. You know what I mean? Like, it makes it all worth it. So that's the reason why I'm so visible. That's the reason why I'm in the Bronx Boys and Girls Club, in my hometown, in Cleveland and Milwaukee doing the camps, is because I want to have that effect that Dave Stewart had on me as a 9-year-old.
The game is expensive. I learned that from Channing. His kid is in travel baseball. And
Goddamn $350 bats.
And you got to buy one twice a year.
I need to drop 6. Man, that drop 6, boy, you better go swing that bat.
You know, like looking back, man, like young CC, I'm sure it would be tough for you to have gone through this journey with the way things are. How do we get the current kids that want to go out there and play? What's the process of them being able to afford getting out there so they can live out their dream?
The kid like me, the situation I grew up in, there's no chance I would make it in today's game. Being a multi-sport athlete, not having the funds to be able to get to a perfect game or whatever tournament, not being able to buy a drop 6, not having the right equipment, not being able to have an outfielder's glove, a first baseman's glove, a pitcher's glove. Like, if you don't have the necessary tools, you feel less than, and you may go off into another sport. So I know 1,000% that would have been me. I would have showed up probably to a tournament, and there would have been kids with bats and gloves and all this different shit, and I show up with my one glove that I played fucking left field, first base, and I'm on the mound with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm using somebody else's bat. Like, so if I don't show up with that stuff, you feel less than, and I'm going to football. I'm going to play basketball, where my boys and my friends are. Yeah. We have an organization called the Players Alliance that we started in 2020 that is addressing that. And through that, I feel like we have been doing a great job of just, finding those kids throughout the country that need that support, need that help. When I was still playing, they were telling me that the numbers were dwindling down. We talked about the 18% of black people playing the game when we were kids. It's about 6%. And when I was playing in like 2007, it was like 4%. And, I made a statement. I was like, this is a crisis and, we need to do something about it. And everybody jumped down my throat. And I was just like, maybe kids aren't playing. Maybe black kids ain't playing baseball. And that's not the case. They playing it at a high level. We just got to get them the opportunities. And we got to make sure that we are not discouraging the kids that are multi-sport athletes from playing baseball. And I think through the Players Alliance, we are addressing that. But it's something that we all think about. We consciously, are trying to make better, because I feel like a lot of the guys from my generation grew up in my situation, whether it's Gary Sheffield or, Kenny Lofton or Jimmy Rollins. We all kind of came out of that same mold, and none of us would make it in today's game.
Being in the major leagues as a black American, because I see a bunch of Dominicans and I look at them like I look at y'all, and then I say, what's up, bro?
And then they talk.
What's up, bro? K? I say,
K. I got a funny story about that.
but tell the story, but even on that, like being a black American in baseball, and you were in the time when I think we're more progressive now than we were when you played.
Yeah, no, so my first team that I played on, I got drafted, I'm 17 years old. I'm fresh from, literally going from high school, now I'm a pro. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like they throw you into the fire, like you go to the minor leagues. So I walk into the locker room and it's like two dark-skinned dudes over here, and then it's like, the white dudes over here, but then in this corner, it's like 7 dark dudes. I'm like, oh, like, we good, like, we locked in. So I go straight down there, like, to say what's up, and everybody down there spoke Spanish. It's the first time that I ever met, like, Dominican guys, you know what I'm saying? They kind of look like me. They look like me, they started speaking Spanish, like, Kate, like, and then 2 black dudes grabbed me over there and was like, yeah, nah, you got to come to this corner over here.
It's us 3 now.
It's us 3 now. You stay out of that corner, you stay over here in this corner. But
NFL locker rooms are, what, 80, 90% black?
Yeah.
MLB locker rooms, like you said, 10% black Americans.
Yeah.
I don't know, 6% white boys, but then it's a Hispanic dude, so
Yeah.
you're really a minority again.
You are. It made it tough. Sometimes to be able to, sometimes I was the only black dude that, in Cleveland, it was just me. In New York, I never had that. It was, it was either me, Derek, Judge came along, whoever else. Like I said, when we were watching the game, it was the number was so high. I feel like it's always been our game. You know what I mean? Like even back to, the Negro League days and Jackie Robinson days, like baseball was black culture. Like if you look at, Hank Aaron and those boys when they started down in Rickwood and, some of the stuff that we're doing down there, like that's central baseball and that's black baseball. And those guys were the LeBron James. Those are the Jalen Hurtses. Satchel Paige is flying around in the 40s with decked out suits and he's got his own plane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the guys. So it's always been our sport. We just got to figure out a way to get back to our culture, if that makes sense. Like baseball has always been good for black athletes. It hasn't always been great for black culture. And I think we need to get back to getting back to black culture. It started in Atlanta with the All-Star game. I don't know if you guys seen any of that. With JD and Ludacris starting it off for us and, everything that we kind of did down there, honoring Hank on, the home run derby day, I think, we're getting back to that.
Did you have some influence in some conversations with that, with your role now and working with them?
Yeah, so we started a group about 4 years ago of ex-players. And it kind of just started with, I got a job there in 21. Raul Bani is working with the league. He's one of my favorite teammates. And I'm like, if he's working over there, then it can't be that bad. You know what I'm saying? So I joined and started working with the league and just trying to change the narrative of, players and the league not having a great relationship. And, we started the group, Commissioner Ambassadors Program, and a bunch of those boys I just named, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, Gary Sheffield, Fred McGriff, we're involved and at a high level in, trying to change the game, trying to bring the culture back. But yeah, I mean, a lot of the stuff that happened in Atlanta, the uniforms, the guys wearing 44 on the home run derby, that was our idea. A lot of the stuff that you see with the hats and, the way that the guys are wearing the uniforms is our idea. We did a big game back in Rickwood, East-West Classic, bringing back a Negro League Classic at the oldest ballpark in America. We did that. We refurbished the field and put it in Willie Mays' name. I mean, the Hank Aaron tribute that you saw after the 6th inning, that was all us. So, we're just trying to change the narrative that players can't work for the league. And, for me, if you just look at that program, it's all my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get a chance to be able, like what you guys are doing. This is all a friendship. I've watched you guys kind of, the way this evolved, and it's through friendship. And that's what that program is us having a love for the game, having a love for the players, and through our friendship, trying to make the game better. And it's been a lot of fun to be able to be on that side of it and bring my guys along with me.
So just right now with the involvement, obviously you work with the league. How are you also involved with the union and trying to help things move forward there as well?
Yeah, so having my role with MLB, I'm trying to change the narrative. It always being a fight. The players against the league, and I think with the program that I'm putting together, the Commissioner Ambassadors Program, we have enough relationships around the league and through clubhouses that. If Mookie Betts or whoever else sees us working on this side, well, maybe it's not that bad on that side, and I think that's, what we're trying to do. And for me, it's about having legends around the game. The Gary Sheffields matter, the, Fred McGriffs, they matter. And, to suggest that, to have us around is a bad thing is heartbreaking, and it sucks to, kind of have that narrative out there that we're doing anything for money. I don't know if anybody knows me, but I don't do anything for money. I'm doing this to try to help the game, to try to grow the game, and to try to help and change the narrative, throughout the game. And I'm gonna continue to do that. Whether the union or whoever else likes it or not, I'm gonna continue to do what I know is right and continue to bring my friends around and give them access to the game that we love.
But you're not involved in negotiations in any way.
No,
correct?
it's not my job.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, people,
my
I
job,
think that's how people see it.
Yeah, that's how people see it.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm trying to change the narrative. That, for me, to see me around, the commissioner and say, oh, he's on this side of this issue or whatever, makes no sense.
Right.
I'm on the side of growing the game and trying to make the game better, and I think everybody in my group is a part of that.
Yeah, that's perfect. I love to read, and so I want to ask you about a book. I think it's called 5 O'Clock Comes Early.
Mm-hmm.
How did that book sort of change your perspective and outlook on yourself and life going forward?
That book by Bob Welch changed me because I didn't know if I was going to be able to play or pitch without alcohol. That sounds crazy, but it had been so much a part of my routine, so much a part of my life, that I was sitting in rehab like, I don't know if I can pitch without drinking. Like, this is like what I do. Like, I pitch, I drink that night, I drink the next night, drink 3 nights in a row, and then I take 2 nights off. And then, but like, that's like, it's like part of my lifts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so once I read that book and got an understanding of, I have a new routine, one, and this is what it's gonna take for me to stay sober and stay on the track that I need to. And 2, he did it. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was able to go to rehab and he was able to come back and pitch at a high level. It just gave me the confidence to be able to, the confidence and I guess the will to be able to want to play after coming out of rehab.
I know functioning alcoholics. I have family members who are actually like functioning drug addicts. None of them are going to the Hall of Fame in anything. I'm just being honest. You mentioned just now, it just struck me, you said I didn't know if I would be able to pitch. I would feel like it's almost the other way around unless the drinking was such a way of life for you. How do you feel you were able to reach such heights with a lifestyle like that?
It was like, it was just, it was functioning. I was a functioning addict. It was just something, like I said, I had did since I was 14. It was something that I did in high school when, if I felt like it was a big game and I was gonna be nervous, I would drink the night before, just so I could be hungover, so I would know I didn't have to worry about butterflies in my stomach. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how, I had figured out how much alcohol could help me at that time. So it was literally just something that was like a part of my life. Like, I started doing, I started drinking because it would be a bunch of scouts that was coming to my games in my junior year. And I'd be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna just get drunk the night before and I can wake up and just go play. I don't have to worry about nothing.
I got it. Do you ever think about, to Ryan's question,
Yeah,
you throwing 97.
Is the glove blurry?
Hungover, like you throwing, bruh. We done all watched you body ass. And you out there rubbing your face and, like, did you ever think about, bruh, if I wasn't drinking, like, what I could do when you stopped, though?
Yeah, no, no, I didn't. I don't know. It's the same thing with my weight, right? Like, I was at my biggest, I was like 340. And I never thought about not being that weight. Like, it's just who I was or what I was. Like, I was offensive lineman. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what I am. So no, I never, and I still don't even think that it would have changed anything. I don't think so,
If you was pushing off that back leg, or you left-handed, so you
Yeah.
would push off this leg, at lighter and not hungover, you could be able to throw faster than.
Yeah.
But the question
for
is,
me,
have you ever thought about it? Is there any regret in it?
No, none. And I think that's what I'm saying, none.
Yeah.
Like, zero. I don't for me, like, being lighter, like, health-wise, like, just living longer, yes. Like, I was taking care of myself way back then, yes. But, like, as far as, like, as an athlete, no. I don't think I missed anything. I don't think it would change anything. But, like, for life, like, just, like, now, wanting to live longer and be around my grandkids and all of that shit, yeah, I should have been taking care of myself a long time ago.
If he was CC Sabathia that had to go back to Vallejo after 3 years in the minor league, it might be a different thing.
Be different.
Like, he's going to Cooperstown. You know what I mean? I think you know, a lot of people who have those regrets, it's when you're the hometown hero, the 3-sport star that doesn't make it, you know?
I was always scared of being that too. I was always scared of like letting so that's why when you ask what I'm carrying when I walk across that stage, right. I'm carrying that I didn't let them people down. Being that 3-sport star and being that guy that everybody looked at like I was in the paper at 9, 10 years old. You're on the front of the sports page, you know what I'm saying? And to be able to kind of live that out and carry that out for my hometown, for my dad, for all of, you know, everybody that like threw that on my back, like that's what I'm walking across the stage carrying.
Yeah, I'm stuck in between asking about the movie, Vallejo, right? That's gonna go back and follow your childhood, versus asking about, you know, you pivoting throughout your career and changing from the big power thrower and adjusting your stuff to more finesse that created your longevity and obviously landed you in Cooperstown. You can go either direction with either one of those. Which one is most important to you?
I'm super excited about the project, just because, you know, I talk about, you know, my hometown and how unique it was to grow up there. And, you know, I feel like if we did a show or a movie about it, it would be a cross between The Sandlot and Snowfall. You know what I'm saying? Right? No, like think about, like, you know, really, really good young black baseball players in the middle of that type of shit going on. Like I grew up in that 80s, 90s jungle. Like that's what the middle of what was going on at the park. But we had high level fucking baseball going on as like kids, you know what I'm saying? Like my 12-year-old all-star team probably should have went to the Little League World Series. We were just one pitcher short, but like best baseball team I've ever been on. You know what I'm saying? And it was all my homeboys and we were all black, you know what I'm saying? So it would be exciting and fun to be able to kind of tell that story and let people understand how rich like the baseball is in my hometown and kind of where I came from and why I play the sport. So yeah, I would be excited to be able to tell that story and you know, going back to me being able to you know, extend my career. I think that was just being lucky, being able to be in this Yankees organization and I had Mariano Rivera, I had Andy Pettit, and I had Billy Connors, and all three of those dudes had mastered the cutter. And you know, when I was throwing hard, they all were like, hey, you need to think about throwing a cutter. I was like, no, I don't. Like, I fucking throw hard enough. You know what I'm saying? And as I lost my velocity, I started paying more attention, and I couldn't have learned from 3 better guys to understand, you know, how to throw this pitch, when to throw this pitch, how to set it up, and, you know, extremely, you know, humbled and honored that I was able to extend my career. And it's the only reason I was able to go to Cooperstown is by being able to come in contact with those 3 men.
It's amazing how the brain takes over when you lose that rawness. We talk about it in football too. The longer you play, you start to lose a little bit of that stuff you really had, but this has to take over.
Yeah.
Right?
And then it's like, man, I wish I was using this when my shit was good. You know what I'm saying? But then that's when you see the Patrick Mahomes or whoever else it is.
But you to talk about your 12-year-old team and then to talk about when you had to adjust, is baseball nature or nurture? Because you don't look like a normal, like you don't look like them other boys. You bring up Randy Johnson, that bitch was 6'9", like, and you a big dude, like, but they got these little dudes out here now that's throwing shit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but they don't look the part. Like, is it nature or nurture?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think you can, obviously, one, like, yeah, I was born with this arm, and I always tell my wife, I was like, I knew I could throw hard when I was young, you know what I'm saying? Throwing the grapefruits. I didn't want to tell that story, but yeah, that's how I knew. Like I'm sure people tired of hearing me throwing the fucking grapefruits, but that's a true story. Like I knew I could throw hard, but there are people that, like you said, that are unassuming. Jose Altuve, one of the best hitters that we've ever seen, probably going to the Hall of Fame, and he's
minuscule.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's fun, and I think baseball is cool in that way that anybody, you know, with enough skill and that can work hard enough can make it to the big leagues.
You have so many special moments. You know, I listed those accolades when you sat down. What's a moment with a teammate or just with the team and environment that stands out to you that was truly special that you got to experience throughout your 19 years?
I think for me, one, winning the World Series, but I think the biggest moment that was for me having a chance to experience was watching Derek get 3,000 hits. You know, he went 5 for 5 that day. I think he hit a grand slam to get the 3,000 hit, but just the lead up to that, you know what I'm saying? Watching him go through that, you know, being in the Yankee uniform, you know, being his teammate, being close to him, it was incredible to kind of see that. And, you know, having my own kind of going for 3,000 strikeouts and having that build up and knowing what that was like, it was fun to see it on both, on as a teammate side, like a little brother, and then to go through it, you know, yourself, and then, you know, have my guy Dylan Betances do the same thing. You know, he was with me, you know, going through it, and but watching your teammate get a milestone like that, where you know he's going to the Hall of Fame, is probably the coolest thing.
First baseball jersey I ever owned was a Derek Jeter jersey.
Okay.
I was number 2 my entire life, like high school, all that, and I was like, this is perfect. You know what I mean? What was it like to be a teammate or just in that atmosphere, that vicinity with the captain and the New York Yankees?
It was something that was real. You know what I'm saying? Like you see people wearing the C, or you hear people being the captain and all of that shit, and it's like, is he really a captain? Even outside looking in, when I was in Cleveland, I was like, what is, you know what I'm saying? Like,
He ain't like that.
I don't fucking get it. Like,
Yeah,
That shit cute.
Jeter ain't like that.
but coming here, I get it. I understood. And you know, from day one of spring training, he called me, you know, and like I said, he just let you be yourself. He let you fly under the radar. He takes all the heat. Something needs to be said, he will say it. But just one of probably the best teammate I ever had. And leading the way he did by example, and really, you know, kind of, he'll stand up and say whatever he needs to say in the clubhouse too. But every single day, you know he's ready to play and ready to try to win a game. So it was real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if that makes sense. Like, some of it's not real, but his captain, I mean, that was real.
I got to ask, this is a personal question. And my son, he obviously doesn't throw like you, but he pitches a little bit.
He will.
But bro, no, because do you know, like, do you have guys? Do you know you got a guy before he walks out the dugout? Is there times in the thing where he just, I done killed his ass so many times, he don't even gonna swing his bat.
And that's what I was saying about those times in Milwaukee. Like, I knew driving to the ballpark, like, you have no chance to win. I never felt like that.
Yeah.
Where I'm driving to the ballpark, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm winning this game today. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was no butterflies in my stomach. I know as soon as the game starts, I'm going 8 innings and we're gonna win this fucking game. Like, there have been times, like, there's times that I feel like that when I'm driving to Yankee Stadium, and I'm out of there in the 3rd inning. You know what I'm saying? But that 2 months in Milwaukee is when I knew that, this is my game.
In that window, did you know that you could be a Hall of Famer? When did you know, like, CC means
Man,
something?
I never, ever thought about me going to the Hall of Fame until I think it was like 2013 or 14. I got into it with an umpire like I always do. And I was sitting on the bench next to one of my teammates, and he said something about, like, how you gonna do that to a Hall of Famer? And I was like, who the fuck are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? But, like, that was the first time I had ever even realized that people thought of me like that.
Yeah.
Like, I had never even, like, never crossed my mind. Like, never, ever crossed my mind until I was sitting next to Ben Francisco, and he like, just said that in passing. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, I mean, like, yeah, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I never considered myself a Hall of Famer.
All right. Throughout your journey, though, man, from Vallejo to the bigs, you know, finding success, finding struggle, finding growth, what's been your biggest pivot or your greatest pivot?
I think my greatest pivot is just understanding myself, I guess, processing everything that kind of happened to me young and being able to apply that as a grown man and you know, become a better father, become a better husband, because I was on the track of, you know, losing everything. I think in, you know, October of 2015, was my greatest pivot, being able to you know, stop drinking and you know, turn my life around.
And this is just a pure question because I need education as a fan, right? And you seem to love, like you love baseball.
I do love baseball. I love sports in general, but I love baseball.
And Chan was talking about pitching. I got to watch Paul Skeens. I went to LSU.
Yeah.
When there's a young dude like him who's at the Pirates, and I played in Pittsburgh, he's not the greatest run support, but when you watch someone like him, does that bring you joy that the game is in hands of guys like the Skeens and the Shohei Ohtanis and all of these people you're still advocating for while trying to build it up more for people like us too?
Yeah, no, it's incredible to watch. Not only one like Skeens do what he did in the big leagues, but do what he did at LSU.
Yeah.
I think, you know, more kids, especially more black kids, need to know that that's a route that you can take. That's an avenue that you can take. You know, Mike Braswell was on that team. You know, so many different guys that you can name. I love the fact that he's able to take that success from the College World Series, LSU, and then bring that right into the big leagues. Like you said, it's tough getting the run support with the Pirates.
Yeah.
But it's incredible to watch him. He's 2 years into his big league career. He started the All-Star game twice.
Yep.
You know, he's probably he's going to be one of the greatest talents that we've seen in a long time. And our game is in a great spot. It is. We just need more players involved, you know, helping the league, you know, figure out how to, you know, build this culture up and build these moments up. And
Just you bring up Shohei, who's an ace, and raking. Your big ass wasn't raking.
Hey, you hit a home off of Chano Park, though.
Yeah, I did.
You got Chano Park.
I just, you brought up Shohei. I'm
like 20
looking
years too late. I might have been like 20 years too late.
You got a Chano Park, he got what? Oh, man. So I guess my last thing is, will they call you Karsten Charles Sabathia when you walk across the
I
stage?
hope so. I hope
So
it's
you can get
Carson
that.
Charles. Yeah. And again, to honor my father, you know, my son will be there. He's Carson Charles. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be walking across with that man on my back. So yeah, I hope they do call me Carson Charles.
Man, thank you for your time, bro. This was absolutely amazing, man. We appreciate you, and just congrats again, dog.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing that not only you had the playing career that you have, but now in becoming the person that you are, you share your story, but you also give back by being present in many places where they don't get to see people like you. Appreciate you.
Well, let's go grab a drink.
Let's do it.
Congrats again.
Oh, wait for you to say it.